On the record, in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Jaylene Caballero, 24-02861. Council appearance.
Morning, Your Honor. Case Markarian appearing on behalf of the people. Make a motion to practice under Michigan Court Rule number 8.120. I would just like to know that I believe Mr. Nickel is actually filling in on this case, and I think he's on the record in another court right now. But it's my understanding it's going to be an unconditional waiver on this by both parties.
You talk to someone. Okay. We're gonna read it.
You want to fill in?
Appearance for the record.
Assistant Public Defender Sarah Donnelly on behalf of the defendant who is to my right.
Okay, Mrs. Caballero is scheduled for a preliminary examination today. My notes said there was going to be an adjournment, but it's now going to be an unconditional waiver.
It was going to be an adjournment request, Your Honor, because the troopers weren't available, but it's my understanding Ms. Caballero would like to waive her exam, and the people are also going to unconditionally waive theirs.
That's what you want to do, ma'am? Do you understand the purpose of the preliminary examination? Do you understand that you have the right to require the prosecution meet their burden in district court of establishing sufficient probable cause that the felony was committed, and then probable cause sufficient to charge you with the felony? Understand that? Yes. You wish to unconditionally waive your exam? Yeah. Is anybody threatening you to do that? No. Any promises being made to you to get you to want to waive your exam? Is that a no? Yeah. You said yes? What? Was it a no? Yes, yes, it was a no? Okay, say yes on the record. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Find your waiver to be freely and voluntarily given. The matter will be found over for a date of November 27th. You don't need to appear in court on that date. That's the date they'll get the file from this court, okay? And the next court date is going to be a pre-trial in the circuit court. Your attorney will be made aware of that. Do you have any questions for the court at this time? No. Bond was set at 1,000 personal funds and any additional matters for the record.
Your Honor, I would just like to know for the record, the offer on this case was to plea as HYTA status, and that offer will continue to serve court.
Any additional matters for the record? Ms. Donovan?
No, Your Honor.
You're all set, ma'am. On the record, in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Kara Jackson, 24-1796. Appearance, please.
Good morning, Your Honor. Case Markarian is here on behalf of the people.
Morning, Your Honor. Robert Palmer, Public Defender's Office, on behalf of the defendant Jackson, who's standing to.
What was the date that was scheduled for a preliminary examination? And this is for robbery, unlawful imprisonment, and domestic violence. Third. How are we proceeding?
Your Honor, at this time, we would be requesting an adjournment. Officer Caitlin Miller, who is a necessary witness to this case, I have been advised is on a honeymoon, so has been out of town and is still out of town. And also, Your Honor, there was a domestic violence third offense charge that was issued and brought over to 4A. I would request that the defendant be arraigned on that, and that both can run at the same time because it is the same victim on both cases as well.
Thank you, Judge. That's my understanding as well. Mr. Markarian made me aware that the people had the ability to start the exam but couldn't complete it, and we were going to have to come back another day anyway. So it's pretty clear to me that he would be able to comply with this timeline requirements. I've spoken to my client. We are on board with that. I was also made aware prior to coming on the record that my client has a new DB third, so we would ask that if the court's able to today, if that file's ready, that my client be arraigned on that new charge today, and I guess we would agree that they can set
it. People of the state of Michigan versus Karen Jackson 24-03335 FY. There's a felony complaint that alleges that on or about October 11th, 2024 at 3232 Schultz Street. That's in the city of Lansing, Ingham County, state of Michigan, that you did allegedly commit the act in count 1 of domestic violence by making an assault or assault and battery upon Sarah Lee Mahoney, a resident or former resident of your household, or an individual whom you have a dating relationship, and that this is contrary to Michigan compiled law 750.81. There's a third offense notice. Says take notice of the defendant was previously convicted of assaulting or assaulting with battery his or her spouse, former spouse, an individual with whom he or she had a dating relationship, or an individual with whom he or she had a child in common, or a resident or former resident of his or her household, or by knowingly assaulting a pregnant individual. By violating Michigan compiled law 750.812. On or about February 14, 2023, and by violating MCL 750.812 on or about September 18, 2020, and therefore upon conviction will be subject to the penalties or enhanced penalty under MCL 750.815. That makes the count 1 a felony. Maximum penalty is 5 years and or $5,000. And a consecutive sentence may be imposed under the law if the assault was committed in a place of confinement. There is, however, an habitual offender second offense notice. It says take notice that the defendant was previously convicted of a felony or an attempt to commit a felony, and that on or about he or she was convicted of the offense of larceny in a building in violation of Michigan compiled law 750.360 in the 30th Circuit Court for Ingham County, state of Michigan, and therefore defendant is subject to the penalties provided by MCL 769.10. That enhances the penalty to life, or 1/2 times the maximum sentence on the primary offense or lesser term. Did you hear that, ma'am? The maximum penalty cannot be less than the maximum term for the first conviction. You understand the charge of the maximum penalty, as well as the habitual offender and the third offense notice on the domestic violence. Right to be represented by an attorney. Mr. Palmer is going to represent you today for the purpose of your arraignment. You have the right to have an attorney represent you at each of your court appearances, and if you're questioned by law enforcement. If you can't afford to hire an attorney, you can make a request to have the public defender's office represent you at the expense of the public. You have the right to, in preliminary preliminary examination within 21 days of the date that you're arraigned on this new file, which is 21 days from today. At the time of that examination, you have the right to require the prosecutor to establish probable cause that a crime was committed and probable cause sufficient to charge you with the crime. That 21-day timeline is set unless you waive the 21 days or the court finds good cause to go beyond the 21 days. You have the right to proceed to trial. You have the right to a jury trial, and you have the right to the presumption of innocence. So you can require the prosecution to prove your guilt by proceeding to a trial. They have to prove each element beyond a reasonable doubt. You can remain silent at your trial and not have silence used against you. You have the right to see, hear, or question any of the witnesses the prosecutor calls to testify against you, and you have the right to have witnesses subpoenaed to testify for you at your trial. Do you have any questions about those rights? Or are you not guilty on your behalf? Are you still at the address of Bridgeport? Are you employed? How do you support yourself? That's it.
I'm gonna possibly get this, I'm gonna get it.
Phone number.
517-256-9070.
Assuming she's going to make a request for public defense to represent her on this matter as well. The PCC.
I wrote it in there.
Oh, okay. Probable cause conference is going to be November 27th at 2 p.m. And preliminary examination can be December 5th at 9:30 in the morning. Do you have any questions this time? That's fine, counsel.
Thank you, Your Honor. I would ask that the court grant Mr. Jackson a personal recognizance bond. I will point out that he's appeared for both of his court dates so far in this matter. There's not been any issues with regards to bond violations of the no contact. He's already wearing a GPS tether, so there are already additional safety measures in place to protect the complaining person in this matter. I don't see any reason why Mr. Jackson would start failing to appear for court now or in some way violate the bond. I certainly think he intends to come back and dispute these matters. I would ask that a personal recognizance bond be granted.
You should address it more at all.
Your Honor, I'll leave it to the court's discretion on this file.
I see the date in this was recent, but it occurred prior to the probation, I'm sorry, the bond status on 24-01796. It says being on bond, looks like October 20th. I don't see any violations. I've not been made aware of any violations. So I think personal recognizance bond is sufficient with continued GPS tether on this matter. Bond will be set in the amount 10,000. Personal recognizance with GPS tether. Not to be within 2,000 feet of Sarah Mahoney. You understand that? You're not to have contact directly or indirectly with Sarah Mahoney. You're not to travel outside the state without prior approval of the court. Not to use drugs or alcohol unless you have a valid prescription. You need to report to pretrial services on this file within 48 hours. You're not to engage in any assaultive or threatening behavior. You're not to possess a firearm, weapon, or ammunition. You understand that? You need to remain compliant with your mental health order. Do you understand that? And the other file will be reset till December 5th as well at 9:30. Additional matters for today's record.
Nothing from the people. Nothing from the defense, Your Honor. Thank you.
You're all set. The record in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus John Joe Gersma, 24-03259. Council.
Morning, Your Honor. Case Markarian, appearing on behalf of the people.
And good morning, Your Honor. Robert Palmer, the Public Defender's Office, on behalf of Mr. Childaris, who stands to my right.
Okay, Mr. Gersma has a preliminary examination. Controlled substance delivery, manufacturing of methamphetamine. Count 2, controlled substance maintaining in drug house, and there's a habitual offender fourth offense notice. Are we continuing today?
Your Honor, at this time, I think that we have a joint adjournment request on this file. We had some issues with getting discovery and evidence. I have seen the body worn cameras were uploaded as of a couple of days ago. My understanding, Mr. Palmer does have those, but just got them yesterday. I haven't had time to review them either, so we're requesting an adjournment for those reasons.
That's a full statement, Judge. That he's absolutely correct. I think we just received the body worn camera yesterday. I don't think either party is prepared to address the concerns regarding the stop today, so we're jointly asking for an adjournment. Obviously, my client is compliant with bond conditions. He's out of custody. I've discussed this with him both prior to today and this morning. He's on board.
Okay. Mr. Joe Gersma, you understand that you have the right to have your examination within 21 days of the date that you're arraigned.
Yes, Your Honor.
You're willing to waive the timeline so that'll give your attorney more time to review the recently provided discovery
Yes,
to
Your
help
Honor.
formulate your defense? Anybody threatening you to do that?
No, ma'am.
January 24th at 8:30. January 24th at 8:30. Additional matters for today's record.
Nothing from the people. Nothing from the defense.
On is 5,010%, that will continue, and urinalysis testing 2 times a month. Any additional matters?
Nothing from the people. Nothing from the defense.
You're all set, thank you. We're running Bishop.
Yes, Your Honor. That one might be a little.
What about Carter?
Carter, I believe we're gonna run to be a little shorter.
Harris?
Harris is being dismissed. I'll waive his appearance.
On the record in the matter of the state of Michigan versus Philip Wayne Harris, 24-00994. Appearance, please.
Morning, Your Honor. Case Markarian, appearing on behalf of the people.
An assistant public defender, Sarah Donnelly, on behalf of defendant Philip Harris, who is not present, he's downstairs, and I will waive his appearance for this.
Today was the date set for a preliminary examination. And we're not proceeding. Make the record.
Yes, Your Honor, thank you. At this time, the necessary witness to this case, Amanda McClanahan, has failed to appear. A subpoena was sent in the mail on this file by personal service. However, our office has admittedly never been able to serve her with that or make contact with her, so I have no indication of where she is, if she even wants to proceed on this case. So I'm not going to run it victimless either. People are unable to proceed.
Your Honor, with that, we would ask that this case be dismissed without prejudice.
Motion to dismiss is granted. I will get you back in this month. On the record in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Ahmad Taylor, 24-03295, counsel appearance.
Morning, Your Honor. Case Markarian, appearing on behalf of the people. I think this one is also one that Mr. Nichols is covering, but I don't know if we have seen Mr. Taylor yet.
Ahmad Taylor here.
I will check the hallway.
Thank you.
On Taylor. I don't know what's that stuff. It's an adjournment. Oh.
I don't know if it's your second, so whatever.
What's going on, sir? You listening to something? Are you listening to something on your phone? Well, you can step outside to do that. Yes, please.
Assistant Public Defender Sarah Donnelly on behalf of the defendant who is to my right.
Okay, today, Mr. Taylor, was the date that was set for a preliminary examination. I have a carrying concealed weapon, a police officer plea, 4th degree under the penal code and a felony firearm. And then I'm gonna be cooperating without security. We're not proceeding today, is that correct?
No, Your Honor, the people are unable to proceed at this time. However, we would request an adjournment of this matter due to witness unavailability. Trooper Andrew Morgan is the necessary officer to this case. He advised me is on a pre-planned vacation, unavailable during this whole week. So for those reasons, we would request an adjournment and also a good cause waiver.
Obviously, I believe that we wouldn't be stipulating to that adjournment, Your Honor.
The public defender is placing an objection to the adjournment. For your information, I'm going to grant the adjournment. I'm gonna find good cause, and that's because it's outside the officer's control that he had a pre-planned vacation when you were picked up and arraigned on this matter. So you have the right to have your exam in 21 days of the date that you're arraigned, unless you waive the timeline or the court finds good cause to go beyond the timeline. So I'm going to find good cause. In the case where you to be dismissed on your attorney's motion, it's likely the prosecution will have it reissued before you can make it home. Which means you gotta come back in here and get rearranged. So it's not in the interest of judicial economy. So we'll get you a new court date, okay, sir? Do you have any questions? January 24th at 9 a.m. Get your notice, and you'll be all set. Any additional matters for the record?
Nothing from the people.
Nothing for defense.
Bond at 1,000 personal recognizance will continue. Well, clock's not here yet. Okay, we're ready on. Everyone, you're ready.
I think Mr. Stars might be stuck in another courtroom, so that means we would have to start. I'm ready. on
Who's
the-
right? Are you handling that one?
I handle Bishop.
Wanted to show Ms. Donnelly one other
Oh,
piece of
one-
evidence
Oh, yeah.
prior to starting.
Okay.
That's right.
on the record in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Timothy John Wyckoff, 23-03-177. Council appearance.
Good morning, Your Honor. Joel Martinez appearing on behalf of the people of the state of Michigan.
Good morning, Your Honor. Dustin Coons for Tim Wallcox is here to my right.
How we go?
How about yourself?
This is the date that was scheduled. For preliminary examination. This is going to be a waiver to the circuit court, is that correct?
My understanding, Your Honor, yes.
That's right, Your Honor.
Is there an offer at all?
There is, Your Honor. The offer that's been extended is plea to larceny, 1,000 or more, but less than 20,000, just a 5-year. And the people, if that's accepted, the people would dismiss count 1. Commissioner Coach, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Wyckoff, you understand that you have the right to have your preliminary examination in the district court?
Yes, ma'am.
You understand that you have the right to require the prosecutor put forth evidence that would establish that they have sufficient probable cause that a felony was committed and probable cause sufficient to charge you with the felony.
Yes, ma'am.
You wish to unconditionally waive your exam?
Yes, ma'am.
Is anybody threatening you to do that?
No, ma'am.
Has there been any promises extending to you to waive your exam?
No, ma'am.
Find over dates November 27th. That's the date the circuit court will get the file from the district court. You do not need to appear in circuit court on that date, okay? Your next court date will be a pre-trial. Your attorney will be made aware of that. Bond is set at 3,000 personal recognizance, and that will continue. Any additional matters for the record?
Not from the people, Your Honor. Thank you.
Just briefly, Your Honor, the court may remember my client was recently given permission to travel out of state to Texas for a work project. My understanding is that is an open-ended project. The company he's working with down there, they want him back as soon as he can be back. So they asked for a slight modification of his bond conditions that he's travel to Texas as needed.
Where does he work?
He's self-employed as an electrician, but also
Mauser Packaging Solutions in Mansfield, Texas.
What do you do there?
I am the maintenance manager for several of their plants. So they are requiring me to go down to the Texas plant. They have their facilities and their maintenance is in disarray right now. So I am helping them manage that plant and get their facility and their maintenance department in order at the current time.
So this is the first I've heard of him traveling for work. I think the previous travel request that I have here was for him to go to Georgia.
The last time we just wanted to be sure that you were needed to be here because it was. I'm not gonna provide the email.
Is it an email request?
yes, Walter.
You said it's Mauser.
Mauser Packaging
How do you spell
Solutions. Mauser.
And that's in
Mansfield.
Mansfield.
Yes, ma'am.
And when you go down there, how long do you expect to stay?
I would probably say, until my next court hearing, like I did this last time. So,
Okay, so you would go down there and you'd stay there until you needed to appear in person for court, is what you're saying?
yes,
You
ma'am.
drive there? How do you get there?
Yes, ma'am. I drove this last time, just for the simple fact that I wanted to make sure that I was here when I'm scheduled to be it, and I didn't really want to trust a plane with all the flights being canceled and stuff like that. So I just take it upon myself with the drive. That way I know I'll be back here when I'm supposed to.
Okay, I updated his bond to include travel for work. Any additional matters for the record?
Your Honor, just for the record, the people do not have any objection to that travel request made by the defendant. Other than that, no, nothing additional. Thank you.
Nothing else. Thank you, Your Honor.
You're all set.
Thank you. Nice weekend.
Thank you.
Melvin Bishop.
On the record in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Malcolm Bishop, 24-03252. Here's please.
Morning, Your Honor. Case Markarian appearing on behalf of the people.
And Assistant Public Defender Sarah Donnelly on behalf of the Attorney of Record Derek Etheridge for the defendant Malcolm Bishop, who is to my right.
Let's see. There was a date set for a preliminary examination. I have a weapons carrying concealed, assault with a dangerous weapon and malicious destruction of property, and a felony, weapons felony. How are we proceeding?
Your Honor, we're ready to run the exam. We have witnesses here and we're ready to go.
Any preliminary matters?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Markarian, if you can approach, I think this is old evidence from a bench trial we had a long time ago. I'm starting to get a collection of
Mr. McReynolds. I remember.
flash drives around here, and I want to start returning those. You can call your witness. You can have a seat, sir.
Yes, Your Honor. I guess maybe that brings, I should note, I didn't actually put all my exhibits on a flash drive today. I just have them.
I'm glad that I gave you that one back so that at least I'm not getting extra. I might have more in my office that needs to be returned.
Sounds good. Thank you, Judge. I'll go ahead and get the witness. The people are calling Jonah Goldman first.
Have you raised your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're going to give is the truth and the whole truth under the penalty of perjury? Yes, ma'am. Okay, you can have a seat. So,
Stand right there.
does she have a support person at all, or
She does. She does.
They
One of them
can
is a witness.
come forward closer, I guess?
Who are you more comfortable with, Detective Green or Sid? You want someone up there with you or you?
Yeah.
The fan? It's not on. It's not.
Don't even think about it. Just you and me. As long as-
enough so that's all. Can she hear me? I don't think so.
We're picking up some feedback. We're just trying to figure out what it is. It's not, it's definitely not that. Is it? Yeah, so stop that. Well, we'll try. Back on the record. You can proceed. Okay, ma'am? What's your witness name?
Jonah.
Jonah? Jonah? Can you hear me, ma'am?
Can I hear them?
She does have some potential hearing problems. here.
Okay, well then she's definitely got to turn this way then.
I can hear
Hear?
Okay, I need you to be able, your responses are actually for me. Do you understand that?
It doesn't amplify anything, but it will record. Judge is asking you a question.
Yes.
Okay, that's a microphone. The purpose of that microphone is for the young lady that's right behind you. She's my court reporter. She has to be able to hear everything and type it down and create a written record of what's going on. But when you give your responses to either of their answers, they're so I can hear them, okay? So you want to make sure I can hear your responses, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All of your responses need to be loud and clear, no mhm and uhs. If you do, we'll remind you that say yes or no, so we can understand clearly for the record. If there's an objection from either of the attorneys, you need to stop speaking. I would have to make a ruling on their objection. It doesn't mean that you did anything wrong. It means there's an evidentiary rule that they don't believe that the question or the answer would be appropriate under those rules. I need to make a ruling on it, and then I will tell you if you can give us that answer or not, okay? State your first and your last name and then spell both of them.
Jonna, Jona, Goldman, Goldman.
Okay, you can proceed, counsel.
Thank you. Jonna, you can just pretend it's you and me,
Mhm.
okay? I'm just gonna ask you some questions, answer them to the best of your knowledge. If you need a break or can't remember something, that's fine, just tell me, okay? Sound good?
Yes, sir.
No, it's okay. The first rule is you can't do mhm and ahs
Yeah.
because we got a court report. Okay, so we get audible yeses, nos, names. Sound
Yes.
good? I want to start with something easy here because I know this is going to be great for you. How long have you lived in the Lansing area?
18, on and off,
How old are you now, if you don't mind me asking?
37.
So you've been here about 20 years.
Yes, sir.
Do you have any children?
Yes, I have 7.
7.
Yes, sir.
What's the youngest? What's the oldest?
My oldest is 15, his special needs. And my youngest is 6 months.
Kiddos to take care of at home.
Yes, sir.
I don't want to force you into anything that's going to be difficult for you, but I also want to be respectful of your time. So I'm just going to kind of get right to it. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Do you recall the date of September 29th, 2024?
Like what happened on that day?
Do you recall that date?
Yes.
Did something happen that made you make contact with police?
Yes, sir.
We'll get to that in just one moment. A couple other questions for you first. Do you recall the location of East Kavanaugh Road and Aurelius Road?
Yes, sir.
What's there?
I call it the dollar store and a gas station.
Do you know what brand dollar store it is? Okay, if not.
I don't know, sorry.
Okay.
I just call it the dollar store.
So you know that there's a dollar store and a gas station.
Yes, sir.
Fair?
Yes.
Is that located in the city of Lansing,
Yes, sir.
Ingham County,
Yes, sir.
state of Michigan?
Yes, sir.
Were you at that location on the date of September 29th, 2024?
Yes, sir.
Why were you there?
I was getting some groceries
From where?
from the dollar store.
So you were getting groceries at the dollar store.
Yes, sir.
Then what happened?
I walked out with my 4-year-old son, Evan, and had him holding my hand and walked to the car while my boyfriend and my daughter stayed behind to get the bags. And I went and sat in the car with my son. And my boyfriend, before my boyfriend came in the car, I noticed the car speeding by and going and driving fastly through the gas station. And my boyfriend came in the car and said, "Did you see that guy? He almost hit us." And I said, "No." And it, like, when you're a parent and somebody almost hurts your family, you become protective. And I saw him come out of the gas station. I was getting ready to leave and he was getting ready to leave, and I took him off. And I told him to slow down. And he stared me down and did a U-turn and came and confronted me, which I wasn't expecting.
That's okay, and I would leave it. Before we get to that confrontation, I just want to break a couple other things down that you said, okay?
Yeah.
So it's important to be as specific as you can. I know it's been a little while and this is tough for you, but as specific as you can. When you said that you got in your car with your son and noticed a car drive by, where were you? Were you at the gas station or the dollar?
I was at the dollar store in my car because I was waiting for my boyfriend and daughter to come in with their bags.
And when you saw that car drive by, how was it driving?
Very fast for being in a parking lot.
Do you know, or did you see how close it got to Isaac and your other child?
No, I didn't see him like come through the dollar store parking lot. I only saw him go through the gas station parking lot, and there was a lot of people there, and I just thought in my heart, like, he could have hit somebody, and he could have hit somebody else, like somebody's kid could have ran out.
Do you recall what kind of vehicle this was?
I just remember it being like a silver box Kia car.
Silver box.
Yes, sir.
Now, and I want to make sure I have the timeline right. Okay, so my understanding is that he goes through the parking lot at the Family Dollar, and then what happens?
So I don't know how to describe it. So like this is the Family Dollar parking lot. This is Aurelius, and then this is the gas station. He came through this way, crossed over Aurelius, went through and around the gas station, parked at the front, and then went in for a second.
Did you see him go in the store?
Yes, sir.
Did you see him come back out?
Yes, sir.
Was it the same person?
Yes, sir.
What happened after he came back out the store?
He got in his spot.
And then what?
started to drive towards the radius, and when I flipped him off.
What happened after you, well, let me start with this. Are you happy or proud that you flipped them off?
No,
What happened after you did that?
I told him he needed to slow down, and he stared me down and went through Aurelius and cut people off to the U-turn right there in Aurelius, and then I was right here coming, trying to go out onto Aurelius, and he came, and so my car was faced this way and his car was faced this way, and came up to me, and I was calm. I told him, I said, you need to slow down, you almost hit my family. And my whole point was I wanted him to be aware, like, you can't drive like that in a parking lot. And he kept saying, your son should have been watched. And I kept telling him, but it wasn't my son. Like, my son was in the vehicle with me, and I kept trying to tell him that, but he didn't want to listen.
Did you at any point, aside from flipping him off and telling him to slow down, did you at any point provoke this person?
I just said this was stupid and this was going nowhere.
Did you call him any names?
No, sir.
Did you say anything that would be considered rude or aggressive for him?
No, sir.
So what happened after, now I want to break down where this first interaction happened. It's my understanding that you were trying to exit the parking lot still at this point.
Yes.
So explain that to me a little bit. Where did he pull up? Where was your car?
Wait, what?
Where was your car? Let's start with that.
When this happened?
Yep.
So this is the exit to Aurelius, the parking lot. I was trying to go out right on Aurelius to the light.
Where was his car?
He came in off of Aurelius.
How close was his car to you when you were exchanging words?
I don't know. Close?
Less than 10 feet?
I don't know feet. Sorry.
Okay, fair. Closer than you and I?
Yeah.
Okay, so closer than you and I are right
Yeah.
now. Okay. So what happened after you kind of exchanged words while eating?
I just said this was going nowhere. And so I waited, I looked both ways before I went, and then I went to the light, and I thought it was done. And I sat there and waited for my turn because it was a red light.
What seat were you in?
I was driving.
Who else was in the vehicle?
My boyfriend was beside me. And
What's your boyfriend's name?
Isaac,
Full name?
oh, sorry, Cole, Isaac Cole.
Who else was in?
My son Everin was behind me.
How old is Evan?
He's 4.
Who else?
My daughter Elizabeth, she's 13. She was behind the passenger seat.
Anyone else in the car with you?
No, sir.
So you pull up at the red light after you kind of exchanged words. Did you keep your eyes on this person in this other car? Could you see what they were doing?
No,
So what happened after you got to the
I
light?
thought it was done, so I was just focused on going home. And I couldn't believe that all had happened. And then next thing, we had our windows down, it was a nice day out. I had my work music on, and he pulled up beside me, and all I remember is
The best you can.
pulled up right next to my car. And I just remember him leaning over with a gun in his hand and said, I will hurt you in front of your kids and not care. And it was clear, it was right there.
See you kind of gesturing
Yeah.
in a way. So let me ask you a couple questions. What hand was this gun?
It's right here.
Right. How close was his car to yours when he showed this?
It was touching.
Touching your car.
Yes.
How did you see that gun? Did he point it at you? Where did he? point it?
Yes, he pointed it at me. So like, this is a steering wheel. His hand was on the steering wheel and your center counsel's here. And he's leaning forward. He said, I will hurt you and I don't care.
Your Honor, please let the record reflect the witness has leaned forward with her right hand extended and her fingers pointed in the shape of a gun. Anything else happen at the stoplight?
he was blocking traffic and traffic was getting backed up and I think he got mad and when he took off, he hit my side mirror thingy majigger and turned left down Kavanaugh. And I finally had a green light and I was headed home. And I told Isaac, I said, he had a gun. He had a gun. I know he had a gun. I said, we need to call 911. He had a gun. And so we called 911 and I talked to them. And when we were on the phone, there's a man there in Kavanaugh. And he threw something at my vehicle, shattering it. And I told 911, I said, I can't drive. I need to pull over. I need to pull over. I can't drive. So I pulled over and somebody's driving. They say if something happens like that, you hide. You make them think you're somewhere else. So I pulled into their driveway and he kept driving by.
Good break, Stella. Okay, Ms. Goldman?
I'm sorry.
That's okay. But I just have a couple more questions for you, all right? When you said that he had a gun multiple times after, during, you described that gun, what did it look like?
It was a handgun.
Are you familiar with guns at all?
Not like not a lot. My dad was an avid hunter, but I know like shotguns.
You know the difference between a shotgun, a rifle, and a handgun?
Yeah,
Which one of those was it?
a handgun.
Do you know the difference between a semi-automatic gun and a full-on?
No, sir.
That's fine. What did that handgun look like?
It was black, and I remember seeing it had like a barrel thingy, like a hole where a bullet comes out of.
So could you see the actual barrel of the gun then when he showed it to you?
It was facing like right at me, so I just remember seeing a hole where a bullet comes out of it, and it being black and a small handgun. That's all I remember.
It's okay. It's okay. You mentioned that he threw something at your car.
I don't know what it was.
You don't know what that was?
No.
Did you make contact with police after he did that? Did you speak to police?
Yeah, he came and found me.
Do you know if they took photographs of that vehicle?
Yes, he did.
Would you recognize a photo of that if I showed it to you here today?
Of my window?
Right.
Yeah, I drive with it every day.
Is it still there?
Yes, sir.
We're approaching with what has been pre-marked as People's Exhibit number 5. For the record, I've shown it and it's gone.
Yes, that's it.
So let me ask you a couple of questions. Do you recognize what's in that photo?
Yeah, my car.
Your car, what part of it?
The windshield.
How do you recognize that as your car windshield? So you're familiar with it?
Yeah, it's my first car. I just got it. I never got a car and I purchased my own car.
Is that a fair and accurate depiction of what your windshield looked like when you talked to police?
Yeah, it still does.
Your Honor, please, or at this time, people would move to admit People's Exhibit number 5.
Any objections?
No, Your Honor.
This file is admitted.
Permission to approach the bench, Your Honor.
Yes.
Woman, I just have one last question for you, really, at least at this. And I'll get another chance to talk to you again after the next hearing. Right? How has all of this affected you? How did this incident at the stoplight make you feel?
Really hard. I had just got a job when this happened to my family. And I had to quit because I was in fear he was gonna find me and kill me. I lived in fear that he's gonna find us and hurt my family.
Why are you in such fear, Ms. Goldman?
Because I've never had a gun pointed at me before.
Thank you, Your Honor. At this time, I have no further questions.
That's fine. All right, Ms. Goldman.
I said, give me just a moment.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Okay, you can proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Goldman, my name is Sarah Donnelly. Thank you for being here this morning. So you said that that day that you had gone to the Family Dollar with your family to get groceries, and that you had left the Family Dollar and gotten in the driver's seat of your Ford Flex, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and then and at that time, your 4-year-old was in the car with you.
Yes, ma'am.
And then you said that you were waiting for your boyfriend and your 13-year-old daughter to put the rest of the groceries in the car and get in.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You said at one point that you had music on in your car, correct?
Yes,
You were
ma'am.
listening to your worship music.
Yes, ma'am.
How loud was your music up?
Oh, I don't remember. I'm partially deaf, so I have it like around 10 to 16. I like even numbers.
I do too. So you usually put it up, you say a little louder because of your hearing problems?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, and I'm sorry to hear that you have those issues. Do you have like a diagnosed like deafness?
No, I have seen an ear doctor and they said I was gonna be deaf by the time I'm 40. But I'm just scared to go into the check again.
It's understandable.
I'm not looking at you, I'm sorry.
I'm not taking it personally, Ms. Bowman. Appreciate again that you're here. All right, so you testified that when you were in the car when the defendant drove fast through the Family Dollar parking lot, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And that was it your testimony today that at that time you didn't notice him yet?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and then you did notice him when he went across Aurelius into the gas station.
Yes, ma'am.
Was that before or after your boyfriend told you that he almost hit your boyfriend and your daughter?
Before.
Okay, all right, so you notice him and then your boyfriend gets up there and tells you that what he did.
Yes.
All right, and so you said that you felt protective at that moment?
Yes.
Okay, were you still loading the car or were you waiting to see what the defendant did?
No, when my boyfriend came in the car, that's when Mr. Bishop was getting ready to leave.
Okay, so you were still waiting for your boyfriend to get in the car, so when Mr. Bishop went into the gas station?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Yes, sorry.
no, it's fine. All right, and then you said that when you were leaving the parking lot, you were like kind of in the driveway, that you flipped off Mr. Bishop.
Yeah, and I feel bad about that. I really do.
And then so getting to the unfortunate part, I'm sorry to have to cross-examine on this, but when you were at the light and he pulls up to you to your left, you said that he pointed a gun at you.
Yeah.
All right, now, do you remember how high the gun was pointed?
He had, like, this is the steering wheel. He had it like, he was, can I see it?
Yes.
He was like leaning across like this, so it was like against him, like, I don't know how to describe it.
Okay, so let me see if I can, we can clarify that. Was he wasn't holding it up pointed directly
It
at you?
wasn't like this, it was like this.
So you're saying he kept it low, but he still pointed it up?
Like, you know, your center console, he was like leaning on that with it there, like, it was almost like he was trying to hide that he had it, but trying to scare me that he had it.
Okay, so you're saying that essentially, what you can recall is that his gun was lowered up, maybe his hand was still on the center console, like kind of resting there on the center console?
Yeah, like this, like,
I can't see anything
Okay,
she's doing.
sorry.
you want me to turn to you?
Yeah, because you're actually, the demonstrations are really for
Turning
me.
very well, can I, like? stand,
Absolutely, because I
please?
can't know I don't know what you're
So like,
describing
this is his steering wheel, and he was leaning like this.
on the center console.
Yes, ma'am,
Okay, thank
and
you.
it was right beside him.
And did you know, how long, in your mind, how long after that happened before he drove away?
No, I don't. I rolled my window up because I was scared, and in my mind I was thinking that was a gun. And so in my mind I rolled my window up as like thinking that's gonna protect me. And then I don't know how long it was.
Uh, And do you remember at what point you called police, or did you call the police?
My boyfriend started, but because I saw the gun, he didn't, so I did, so I talked to them. And that was like, sorry, when we were at the light, when I was turning, that's when we called.
Where were you turning? Which direction?
So Aurelius is going south, I turned left on Kavanaugh, so
Okay.
headed that's east,
Okay,
right?
heading towards Dunkel?
Yes, ma'am,
Okay, thank you.
yes.
You said, testified that when he did take off from the intersection, that his side mirror hit your side mirror.
Yes, ma'am.
Was there any damage to the side mirror?
No. But I didn't really look because I was more focused on the windshield after that happened. I still didn't really care. I just cared about my family's safety.
Right, Your Honor, I have no further questions.
I need some greater clarity. Ma'am, help me understand. Again, you were at the dollar store, you said, on Kavanaugh and Aurelius, which is got a red sign, correct?
No, it's got a light.
What's got a light? The dollar store I'm talking about. Is it
Oh.
Family Dollar?
I don't know, I just call it the
Is it
dollar.
directly across the street from a Citgo?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you're not disputing it's a Family Dollar there? And there's a Citgo across the street that sits on Kavanaugh?
Yes, ma'am.
You're at the parking lot?
Yes, ma'am, because I just came out.
You're inside the car?
Yeah, because I had just came out of the store.
Okay, and where was your boyfriend?
He was coming out of the store with my daughter.
Okay, so both of you all were in the store, you came out first?
Yeah, with my son Everett.
Okay, but prior to you going to the store, did you observe this other vehicle
Like before going in?
before going into the store?
No, ma'am.
So it was when you were coming out?
Yes, ma'am.
So when you were coming out of the dollar store, you observed this other vehicle doing what?
I only saw him when he crossed over Aurelius to the gas station.
Okay, so you saw him crossing over Aurelius into the gas station.
Yeah.
What did you notice about that?
That there was multiple people around and he was driving recklessly and almost could have hit many people.
But he was not near you.
No,
Okay,
but he was near my boyfriend and daughter.
Well, it should have been an objection because you can't tell me what your boyfriend and daughter said. It's hearsay. So I'm trying to get what you observed.
Okay,
Thank you. So what you observed was what took place at the Citgo.
yes, ma'am.
Okay, and then what did you do next?
Like,
To-
I waited for my boyfriend and daughter to come in the car.
Okay.
In that time, he was coming out of the store into his car,
You said he, meaning
Mr. Bishop.
okay, the defendant was coming out of the store at
At the
Dollar General or the Citgo store?
Citgo,
Okay,
yes,
thank
ma'am.
you. He
Sorry,
was coming out of the Citgo store and you're still at the Dollar?
dollar store, yes, ma'am.
Okay, and then what happened?
So,
You're communicating with each other from across the street or?
no. When I was getting ready to leave the dollar store, Aurelius is here.
Absolutely.
He was here at trying to leave the Citgo.
So you're both leaving at the same time?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Yeah, because my boyfriend and daughter came in the car by then,
Okay.
and I was just wanting to get home,
Mhm.
because I had to make dinner. And so my boyfriend told me about it, what had happened, and then that's when I was like, are you serious? So I flipped him off.
okay. So you're exiting Dollar, it's the Family Dollar there.
Yeah.
He's exiting
Yeah,
the Citgo. Both of you all are exiting onto Aurelius.
yeah, but he
Where
was
the light
going
is.
the opposite way, and I was going this way.
Okay, so he's going the opposite way, and you're going the opposite way. Your window's open?
Yeah, because it was nice. It was
Is his
warm.
window open?
Yes.
And then you yell or say, slow
I
down?
said, slow down, yeah.
Okay, but that's not when you flipped him off. That was later?
No, I did. I flipped him off
Flipped
and
him off to
told him
slow
to
down.
slow down.
Okay, and prior to this, he would have no idea who you are.
No, I
Okay.
never seen him before.
Okay.
either.
And then you continue going to turn east, you say?
I couldn't go yet because it was like rush hour time.
So traffic was little?
Yeah.
okay.
So, and I waited for traffic, but he did a U-turn right there and cut people off to get to me.
Okay, and so he caught back up with you,
Yes, ma'am.
and then what happened?
That's when I told him he needed to slow down, and I was calm, I was kind. I told him, you could have hit somebody, but he kept saying, my son should have been watched. I kept telling him my son was with me. It wasn't my son, it was my boyfriend and daughter, and I tried expressing that to him, and he didn't want to listen.
Okay, so you all are exchanging some back and forth in the middle of traffic?
In the middle of the driveway
Which driveway?
of dollar store.
Okay, so you had never left the dollar
No,
store
because I
driveway?
was waiting for traffic.
Okay, so, and he's all the way across on the Citgo driveway.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so you all, okay, got it.
Yeah,
So you're actually gonna have to yell so he can hear you.
I
correct?
didn't really yell, I just was like.
You're
"Slow
not next
down."
to each other. I'm very
Yeah.
familiar with the Citgo and I'm very
Yeah.
familiar with
No, I
you
just
can't use
mouthed
that
it.
voice. You can't use that voice and he can hear you, correct?
No, I just said slow down, like mouthed it,
Oh, you mouthed it, so you didn't say anything
but I said it, I said slow down.
as you were flipping.
Yeah, I
Come on,
said,
okay.
slow down. like
Okay,
that.
got it.
No, does that make sense?
Got it. I'm just trying to figure out how the communication
No,
happened.
you're fine, sorry.
Okay. So then when you're able to pull out, you pull out, but by then you turned.
Yeah, because he was turning right on Aurelius.
Okay,
Yeah, right on Aurelius. No. Yeah, right out of Citgo on Aurelius. Sorry, my brain got it backwards. He was turning right on Aurelius,
okay,
and then he was eyeing me, like he didn't take his eyes off me, and he got mad that I flipped him off, so he did a U-turn right there, stopping traffic, and then came back over.
okay. And that's when you all went back and forth about him saying something about your son and you're saying,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah. And I said, this wasn't going anywhere, and it really wasn't, like, he didn't want to listen to me, and I stayed calm.
when did you get to the point, or I should say, where were you located when you seen the firearm?
At the light, at Aurelius and Kavanaugh, at the light.
Okay, and you're sure you saw a firearm?
I know without a doubt, ma'am.
Okay, and that was when he made the statements, I'll hurt you? I
I will
don't
hurt
care.
you in front of your kids and I won't care. And he didn't care.
Okay,
The look in his eyes, all I saw was black. It was just dark eyes
okay,
and I can't get it out of my head.
okay,
I've had dreams about seeing him.
okay. And another question about something else you testified. You said that you quit your job because of this?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you work in the area,
Yes.
in the area where this incident occurred?
I worked at Five Below and I just was living in fear of thinking he was gonna send somebody to get me. Like, I don't know why. I just thought he's gonna send somebody to get me.
Have you ever seen this person prior to this incident?
No, ma'am.
Did you see him after this date?
No, ma'am. Because I
Okay,
didn't leave my house.
okay, okay, but just you went into general fear,
Yes, ma'am.
not that he did anything to make you think that he could find out where you worked?
I just, in my mind, I thought he would look for me. I don't know. Like, I don't know.
Okay,
It was just fear.
okay, thank you. You can redirect.
Yes, sir. Thank you. A few things I want to follow up.
Yeah.
Let's start with, have you received or any information, or do you know where the defendant lives?
I have,
Do you know how close he is in proximity to your home?
yes, sir.
How close?
Within 2 minutes.
2 minutes walking, driving?
I don't know. I just remember it being 2 minutes.
I'm going to show you a photograph here, and I'm just going to ask you if you recognize this, okay?
Yes, sir.
Do you recognize that photograph?
Like
Do you know what that is? Have you ever seen it before?
like a steering box?
Did you see it in any way involved with this incident that we're talking about today?
No.
Is this what was pointed at you?
No, it was a gun. I saw like the thing that you hold. This thing. I don't know. You hold it. You hold the thing.
It's okay.
I don't know what it's called, but you hold it and I saw the barrel. I saw a gun.
Ms. Goldman, earlier you mentioned a Mr. Bishop.
Yes,
Who's Mr. Bishop?
what my son likes to call the monster.
Do you know who that person is? Do
I
you
don't
their-
know him
Do
personally.
you know their full name?
Mr. Malcolm Bishop.
You can tell me no to this question if you want, okay? Because I have other witnesses. Are you comfortable at this point identifying him in court?
I have to look at.
If we're gonna do that, then yes, but I have other witnesses, so you can tell me no.
But can I tell him something?
It's not right. Okay. Correct. It works. No further questions for this witness.
I asked questions. I don't know if you had a recross based on that question.
No, Your Honor.
Okay, may this witness be excused?
Yes, Your Honor, this witness.
Okay, you can be excused, man.
I can't say nothing.
All right. People are gonna call Isaac Kroll next, Your Honor.
Oh, my squishy. Sorry. Thank you
problem.
for your
Thank you.
time.
No problem. You raise your right hand. Stand, face me and raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're going to give is the truth and the whole truth under penalty of perjury? I can't hear you.
I swear.
Thank you. You can have a seat. There's a microphone that is in front of you. The purpose of that microphone is so that the young lady behind you can take down everything that's being stated here. but that microphone will not amplify your voice so that we can hear you. So we need your responses to be loud and clear, okay?
Okay.
There has to be yes or no responses to any questions that require yes or no, not mm-hms and uh-hs or head nods or head shakes, because we can't write that into the record clearly, okay? If either of the attorneys makes an objection, you will stop speaking so that I can make a ruling on that objection. It doesn't mean that you did anything wrong. It just means that there's an evidentiary issue that I need to make a ruling on, and then I'll tell you if you can give us that response or not. State your first and last name and spell both.
Isaac, Isaac. Last name is Kroll, Kroll.
Okay, and also you don't have to necessarily speak into the mic. She can pick you up if you sit up. That's fine. You don't have to bend
Okay.
down. I just want to let you know, a lot of people think that because it's a microphone that makes it louder for us. It does not. Okay, so you can sit just like that, okay? Thank you. You can proceed.
Thank you. Good morning, Isaac.
Good morning.
Mr. Kroll, I should call you. Sorry. How long have you lived in the Lansing area?
For about 3 years. Yeah.
Someone by the name of Jonna Goldman.
Yes,
Who's that person to you?
that is my girlfriend.
Do you know, or do you two parent any children together, co-parent?
Yes, we do.
How many kids?
7.
I want to be respectful of your time, so I don't want to be rude, but I am just going to jump into it, to be respectful of your time, okay? Do you remember the date of September 29th, 2024?
I don't quite exactly remember the date, if you're referring to like the matter of this case.
You remember the incident that occurred at or near a Family Dollar in Sickle?
Yes, sir.
Was that near the location, at or near the location of East Kavanaugh Road and Aurelius Road?
Yes.
Talk to me about what happened. Explain to me a little bit. Let's start at the Family Dollar. What happened there?
We're walking at a Family Dollar. Everin, which is the 4-year-old, walked with Jonna to the car. He's already at the car with Jonna. And me and my daughter were getting groceries. Malcolm drove into the parking lot fast. So it was not a little, it was very scary. I kind of stood there and stared at him. And then my daughter got in the car, I got in the car, and I basically informed Jonna that we.
You mentioned a name here, a name of Malcolm.
Yes, sir.
Do you know this person named Malcolm?
Yes, sir.
You know what their full name is?
Malcolm Thomas Bishop.
Got middle name too. Good job. How do you know this person?
Because of the incident. That's how I know.
Okay, gotcha. Would you feel comfortable identifying this person in court today?
Yes.
Do you see that person that you name identified as Malcolm Bishop, the person from this incident, in court with us today? If so, please point him out and identify him by article of clothing he's wearing. As you gesturing towards the defense table, do you identify this person by an article of clothing?
Jacket.
Green jacket. Your Honor, please let the record reflect Isaac Kroll has identified the defendant.
Any objections, identification?
No, Your Honor.
Identifications noted.
So you see this person, Malcolm, the defendant, drive through the Family Dollar. You said it scared you. Why was that?
Because it was fast and there was cars that were parked parallel to the Family Dollar. So in no time, really, if my daughter would have decided to walk into that street, she could have got hit. I could have got hit.
How close was this car to you when you drove by?
I was still like in the parking space, like where you park your car. That's where I was kind of at when I heard the car. I had to hear the car. I looked both ways, but like I had to hear it zooming by. So
Did he drive in front of or behind you?
it wasn't behind me. It was on the side. It was kind of like
Could you see what kind of car it was?
a Kia, I guess. I don't know. I'm bad with cars.
Okay, what color?
White or gray.
What, if anything, was distinctive about the shape of this gray key?
It was tiny.
Was this a, you said you're not familiar with cars. Do you know the difference between a sedan, between an SUV, between a truck?
Yeah,
Which one was this? This vehicle?
I would confidently say it's Kia.
Was it an SUV? Was it a truck? Was it a sedan? What was it?
Too small for an SUV. Definitely not a truck, but not a bed.
So some type of gray Kia, but bigger than a sedan? So you see this vehicle, or you rather hear it drive by,
Yes, sir.
then what happened?
I stopped, stared at him, and my daughter was waiting for me to give her the go. So I waved her down. We walked into the car, and I informed John that this happened. And she wasn't happy about it. I wasn't happy about it.
Where did that car go that drove by?
To the sit-go.
What happened after it went to the Sitco?
Well, when he pulled into the sit-go, he you can hear the brakes screech, and there was like a lady outside that kind of freaked out about it. So, yeah, we were just kind of shell shocked about that. And then as he was pulling out of the sit-go, Donna flipped him off.
What happened after John flipped him off?
He did a U-turn as he was pulling out. Well, first he stared us down, and as he pulled out, he did a U-turn, came over here on the side of us.
Let me try and write that down a little bit. Where is the Sitco in relation to this Family Dollar?
Right across the street.
Where was he when John flipped him off?
He was pulling out of sit-go, so he was in the sit-go and into where he came from, and he was pulling out to make the right.
So he's turning right out of the Sitco.
Yes, sir.
Where was your car?
About to pull out a Dollar or Family Dollar.
Did you pull out of the Family Dollar?
No, we
Why
were
not?
parked. We were parked right there because we saw him, and I think we were waiting for a car to go by to make a right, and he was staring us down.
What did the defendant do after that?
Did a U-turn. So basically, he saw that, went right, and then did a U-turn, came back and parked right beside.
Were words exchanged at this point?
Yes, sir.
Could you tell what or did you hear what the defendant was saying?
It was confrontation with verbal.
Any threats or anything like that at this
No.
point?
No,
So
it was basically confrontation that you can't drive like that.
did you hear? And I don't want you to. I'll move. I'll rephrase. Did you call the defendant any names? Anyone in the vehicle instigate or provocate the defendant here aside from John flipping him off?
No, sir.
Anyone else call him any names?
No, sir.
Okay. What happened after you kind of exchanged words at the Family Dollar? Were you able to leave eventually?
Yeah, we pulled out of the Family Dollar drive-in, made a right onto that stoplight. I looked behind me and saw that he did like this weird turn on to park the car, and then did a reverse and then came and parked right beside it.
What happened once he got up to the stoplight?
Threatened to break the window, also mentioning that he doesn't care that our son is in the back.
You said he threatened to break the window. Say anything else, make any other threats to you that you heard? Did you ever see a gun?
Sorry?
Did you ever see a gun?
No, I couldn't.
Why do you say you couldn't rather than I did?
I didn't look over.
So you didn't even look over.
Yeah. No.
Would it be fair to say that if he had shown a gun at this point, you could not have seen it because you weren't looking over?
Yes, sir.
What happened after the little interaction at the red light and threat to break your window?
He did a left on that road.
Do you recall what road that is?
No,
That's okay. So he did a left on that road at the light.
yes, sir.
Then what?
And then we went right behind him because that's our way home. And a little bit more after the bend, that's when he came back and do something.
What do you mean he came back?
He turned around. Basically, he went that way and we went that way. And then he turned around, drove past us pretty fast, throwing something at us.
After that, did you speak with police?
Yes, sir.
Is that ultimately kind of how you end up here in court with us today?
Yes, sir.
Do you know, have you ever interacted with this person, the defendant, before?
No, sir.
Have you been made aware or gotten information of where he lives?
Yes, sir.
Do you know how close that is to where you and Jonah live?
Fairly close.
How has all of this affected you, sir?
Trying to be a rock for John, so I'm not ready much. It's off, but trying to be a rock for my life.
Appreciate that. Thank you. I have no further questions.
Morning, Mr. Kroll. My name is Sarah Donnelly. Thank you for being here. So you testified today that you went to the Family Dollar with your family for groceries, correct, on that date? And you said you heard the car before you saw the car that Mr. Bishop was in, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Did you when you heard the car, where were you standing?
I was standing right towards the end where you park your car usually, like where the lines are, like somewhere in the middle.
How far away are you from Jonah's car?
I don't know how to get in, but there's like parking spaces here, and then there's the drive-through, obviously, and then there's parking spaces.
But Jonah's car was parked across the parking lot from the entrance, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
So it was basically just a straight line from the entrance of the store to the back of Jonah's car. All right, and were you guys loading the groceries into the back of the Flex? The trunk space?
Yes.
All right, and is the Flex trunk space, was it open or closed when you heard Mr. Bishop's car?
It was closed.
Okay, so you and your daughter had completely loaded up the car, correct?
No.
No, okay, what else had
It
been?
was closed before we got there.
Okay, so when you and your daughter walked up, were you carrying anything or pushing anything?
Yeah, I was holding a couple bags. She was holding a couple bags.
Okay, all right, so and then so you said and you said that he was, when he drove past you, it was to your side, correct?
Yes, to my right.
Oh, you're talking about your right side. So was he coming toward you or away from you?
He was coming towards us because, not like trying to hit us, but he was coming that way where I was gonna cross.
Okay, and so you see him as he comes towards you.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and did you observe the driver of the car?
It was pretty dark, tinted window,
Okay.
kind of.
All right, and then you said that he drove past you and your daughter.
Yeah, well, at the time, my daughter was right by the doors to the entry on the store,
Of the store, okay.
but I was already right there.
Kind of walking out into the parking lot.
Yes, ma'am.
So your daughter was behind you as you were walking out into the parking lot.
Yeah, close to like the, I don't know what you call it, those beams, those guards for the cars.
Yeah, the beams right in front of the entrance doors to stop
Yes.
any vehicles from getting close to the entrance. Okay. And then that's when you said that Mr. Bishop drove past you in his car.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. And so then you say that you have to, at that point, all you have to do is get the groceries in the car and yourselves in the car and drive off?
Yes, ma'am.
You didn't return to the store at all?
No,
All right. And then, and so how long would you say it takes you and your daughter to get in the car and get ready to for Jonah to pull out?
not very long, less, probably like less than a minute.
Okay. And then you said that when you get in, is the car already on?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And does the car have, is she playing her worship music when the car's on?
I don't recall what was playing on the radio.
Was the radio on when you got in the car?
I'd say confidently, yeah.
Okay. All right. And then the time comes when you guys want to leave the parking lot, try to turn right on Aurelius. She sees Mr. Bishop pull out of the Citgo gas station parking lot and she flips him off and tells him to slow down. Right? All right. And then you said that you can see him turn around on Aurelius and pull into the Family Dollar, right?
Yes.
All right. Now you said that, and you and Jonah and Malcolm have exchanged words, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you hear what Malcolm's saying?
One thing that I recall hearing is,
Or just, I
That-
just want to know if you can hear what he's saying.
yes, ma'am.
You heard everything he said?
Yes.
Okay, all right. And that was, and. Right, and then, what so Jonah decide, was it, who pulled off first? Or who broke off that confrontation first in the driveway?
Malcolm did.
You saying that Malcolm drove off first?
Yeah,
Okay.
he was already like kind of going his way. And we went our way out.
When you said he was already going his way, what do you mean? You said that it was your testimony on direct that you guys parked in the driveway. Now, technically,
Yes,
was the car in park?
No, it was on break.
Yes, you were brake. Okay. So you guys had stopped, braked in the driveway. So are you saying that Malcolm was slightly moving the whole time, or did he come to a stop too?
No, ma'am. He came to a stop with us.
Okay, you both came to a stop, and at some point Malcolm starts moving his car before Jonah starts moving yours.
Yes.
Okay, and then you get to this stoplight, and you said that you saw Malcolm in the Kia from behind you, right?
Yes.
Okay, and you said you observed him as he pulled up to the car, Jonah's left.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and did you hear Did Jonah say anything to Malcolm?
No.
Okay. Did you hear what Malcolm said to Jonah?
Very faint.
Okay. I have no further questions.
Redirect.
Hang on.
I mean, this witness be excused.
Yes, Your Honor, this witness may be excused.
Thank you. You may be excused, sir.
People call Detective Jackie Lindman next, Your Honor.
You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're going to give is the truth and the whole truth under the penalty of perjury.
I do. Thank you.
State your first and last name and spell both.
Daphne Lindeman, JACKILINDEMAN.
Proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. I have co-host permissions on Zoom for Your Honor when I need them. I'm not gonna use them right now, but I'll need them for this one. Good morning, Detective Lindman.
Good morning.
I may have given it away there with the detective title, but are you currently employed?
Yes,
Where at?
City of Lansing.
In what capacity are you employed?
I'm a detective.
Is that your current rank and assignment?
Yes,
Do you specialize in any sort of unit or anything like that?
actually, I don't. I'm assigned to the home general case. So I get a little bit of everything right now.
How long have you worked for the City of Lansing Police Department?
15 years.
Did you have any prior police experience before that? All 15 years for LPD.
Yes,
How long have you been a detective?
it's February of this year.
What do you do in your role as a detective? A detective. Fair to say you kind of do follow-up?
Yes,
Okay, what does it mean to do follow-up?
it can mean any number of things. The first thing I do when I get a case is read it and then decide from there what the next step is. Following up with the victim is usually the person calling, having them take me through the order of events.
That's okay. Were you assigned to investigate as a detective the case of Malcolm Bishop?
Yes,
Was this an incident that occurred on the date of September 29th, 2024?
yes.
Where did this incident occur?
It was at the intersection of Kavanaugh and Julius in the city.
So, and we'll end up going through it item by item, but generally speaking at this point, you've mentioned that you kind of did some follow-up on this case. What did you do?
I read the report. I looked at body camera footage from the initial responding officer. I spoke with the victims. I spoke with witnesses. I obtained surveillance footage. I conducted photo lineup. I had a crime analyst assist me in identifying the accused vehicle. That vehicle was located in our e-ticket system. And these was identified that way.
You also conduct an interview with the defendant?
I did,
More than one interview?
yes.
Now, after your review of the report and based on the information you had, do you know if the defendant was arrested for this that day at this time?
He was not.
How long after this incident was it before the defendant was arrested?
I believe he was arrested on October 30th.
Do you know if any officers searched his vehicle on the date of September 29th, 2024?
No.
Do you know if any officers ever searched his vehicle?
I believe so.
How long after?
I don't know exact dates.
Fair to say there was some time in between this incident and when the vehicle was actually searched, though?
Yes,
So then that kind of brings me to the question I'm getting at here. Was a firearm ever recovered?
no,
Do you have any information about firearms or why that might be as a part of your investigation?
I'm sorry.
Let me rephrase. Did you have any information throughout your investigation about the defendant having a firearm?
I had, well, the report and
Did you attempt to locate any firearms
I
that
did.
might be registered to the defendant or people he knows?
yes,
How did that go?
I did locate one that was registered to his current girlfriend, however, I was mistaken, and that one has been sold, and it was sold prior to this incident, so
You know how far prior?
quite a bit, almost a year, it was December.
Now, based on your training and experience as a detective, is it uncommon for someone to possess a firearm that is not registered to them or other people?
Absolutely not.
Is it uncommon for someone to be accused of committing a firearm or crime with a firearm and then police to not be able to recover it?
No,
Why might that be? Based on your training and experience. Are there a number of reasons why you might not be able to recover a firearm? Is that fair to say?
because it's possibly hidden for fear of arrest.
Now, I think we've kind of covered the firearm section there and the attempts that you made to recover. I want to talk about identifying the suspect now. Okay. Did you, well, you said earlier, you conducted some photo lineups with witnesses and I believe the victims in this case. Could you please just tell us who exactly you conducted a photo lineup with?
Yes, there were 2 employees of the Citgo gas station, as well as victim Jonah Bolton and Isaac.
Why did you have people from the Citgo gas station participate in the line?
Because when I obtained video from the manager there, she had made a remark that she spoke with an employee who said, I remember.
Objection.
Yeah.
I mean, you're saying.
Objection sustained.
Yes, sir. Now, let's not talk about
Yeah.
what people specifically said, okay?
Okay.
Why did you have people from the Citgo gas station that you considered to be witnesses participate in the line?
Because I determined Mr. Bishop went into the gas station at the time of the incident. And I was able to identify the people that waited on him at the counter, as well, or the person that waited on that counter, as well as another employee who happened to be walking out of the building as his vehicle was pulling into the wall.
You recall what those 2 people's names were?
Yes.
What are they?
The one who waited on him and rang him up was Ashlyn Anderson, and the other one was her sister, Elaine Anderson.
Would it be fair to say you conducted a photo lineup with them and with the victims on this case?
Yes.
Do you know what a 6-pack is?
Yeah.
What's a 6-pack? Not beer.
It's 6 photos, each in a separate folder of different people, one of them being the suspect. And each folder is shown to the victim or witness individually. And it's in lieu of what most people think of as their lineup.
So fair to say that when you conduct lineups in real life, it's not like we see on TV where we got people standing against a wall.
Not normally, no.
Does the Lansing Police Department in their ordinary course of business document or record these lineups when they're done?
Yes,
Would it be fair to say you've seen the recording of these lineups?
yes.
Did you help in preparing it?
I had, so when a lineup is done, the investigator on the case, the main investigator, is not supposed to see it or know in what order the photos are. So I typically, or always, have the investigation secretary put it together, and then it's printed out, and I have another detective put the photos in folders, and I don't know which photos are in which folders. And then that detective goes into the room with the victim or witness and presents the pictures
So when,
without me.
let me try and clarify my question a little bit. Is there a record made at or near the time of these lines?
Yes.
Of what was done in the line?
Yep, it's all recorded.
Is that done in the ordinary, regular course of business as the Lansing Police Department?
Yes.
Your Honor, at this time, approaching the witness with what has been pre-marked as exhibits 1 and 2, People's Exhibits 1 and 2. You were, take a look at the People's Exhibits number 1 and 2 there. Do you recognize what I mean to do?
Yes,
What is that?
these are the photo lineups that I'm shown to.
What's in People's Exhibit number 1 there? Which lineup is that?
This is the lineup that was viewed by Ashley.
Those are the 2 sicko employees.
Correct.
What about the second lineup there in People's Exhibit 2? Who participated in that?
Jonah Goldman and I.
Between both of these lineups, was a suspect identified?
Yes.
Who?
Malcolm Bishop.
How many people identified Malcolm Bishop?
2 identified.
2 positive. Who was that?
Elena Anderson. Isaac Cohen.
When you say someone was positively identified, what do you mean?
I mean, there was no doubt or discrepancy. It was 100%.
Okay, you said Elena and Isaac had positive.
Correct.
What was wrong with Ashland's ID, if anything?
She couldn't ID anyone.
What about Jonah's ID, if anything?
Jonah had trouble. She thought it was either folder picture 1 or folder picture 2.
Did she eventually select between those 2?
She did.
Which one?
2.
Number 2. Who was contained in photograph number 2?
Malcolm Bishop.
Thank you. You can, permission to approach, Your Honor.
Yes. Are you making a motion to admit that, or was it stipulated?
I apologize. I must have forgot to move to admit. At this time, people would move to admit People's Exhibit 1 and 2.
Any objection?
No.
Thank you.
Now, I want to talk a little bit more about identifying the suspect before we go on. But first, I want to talk about those videos you recovered.
Okay.
Where did you recover videos from?
From the Citgo gas station.
How did you go about collecting those videos?
Into contact with the store manager.
Were those videos ultimately submitted?
Yes.
Specifically, I'd like to ask, was there a video submitted of the interior of the Sicko?
Yes.
What about one from a right side angle of the gas station?
Yes.
What about one from a left side angle of the gas station?
Yes.
Near the front entrance, maybe?
Yes.
Have you reviewed all those videos prior to testifying today?
Yes.
Do you recognize those videos if I showed you them again here
Yes.
today? Your Honor, at this time, the people would move to admit, I have shown them to Ms. Donnelly, or at least she's seen them. People's Exhibits number 3, 7, and 8, 3 videos from the Sicko gas station.
Any objections?
No objections to the purpose of preliminary exam.
Admitted for the purposes of the exam.
Now, since we're on the topic of identifying the suspect, I'm going to show you a video from inside of the Sicko. Okay, Detective?
Yep.
Do you recall if there's any sound on these videos?
There's no sound.
For the record, Your Honor, we're looking at a camera from the interior of the Sicko gas station dated September 29th, 2024 at 15:42:39 p.m. Do you know if that timestamp on there is accurate, Detective?
I believe it is.
I'm gonna go ahead and play this video in its entirety. At the end of it, I'll just have you ask you to summarize what we saw, because the court reporter doesn't write down what we watch the videos, okay?
Okay.
Stopping at the 15:43:03 mark, who do we see in that photo?
Alvin Bishop.
The person that's purchasing, I should clarify. Where do we see the person purchasing?
Yes, that's Malcolm Bishop. Customer.
And may I ask who's the cashier?
That's Ashlyn Anderson.
Could you please just briefly summarize what we saw in that video there?
So that is video of Mr. Bishop entering Citgo, making the purchase in the afternoon of September 29th.
Do you know how close time-wise this was in relation to the incident that you were assigned to investigate?
Yes, it was in the middle of it.
So it was all a part of the incident, perhaps?
Yes.
Show you another video that was recovered from the Citgo there. Trying to do the same thing.
The record, Your Honor, this is People's Exhibit number 7, the first Citgo video from a right angle of the exterior of the building, dated September 29th, 2024, timestamp 15:41. While this is playing, Detective, what do we see across the street? What kind of a building is that?
The Family Dollar is seen in the top right of the screen.
Do we see any vehicles at this point that were involved in your investigation?
The victim's Ford Flex is seen. You can see it facing the camera, parked in the Family Dollar lot. Silver. Parked behind a tree there. And momentarily you will see Malcolm Bishop, silver Kia Soul, enter the lot in the top of the screen. Just to the left of the Family Dollar as you're looking at the screen. And there it is. It's hard to see, but Isaac Cole and his daughter were in the parking lot there as Mr. Bishop is coming. Mr. Bishop comes into Citgo, and that's Elena Anderson walking through the lot, and she does a double take as he pulls it. And then
For the record, I'm stopping this video here at the 15:42:42 mark. I'm going to pick up with the next video. Fair to say after that, where I stopped that first video is when he exits the vehicle and purchases what we saw. For the record, Your Honor, I'll be playing People's Exhibit number 8. It's the second Citgo video from what appears to be a somewhat left angle right near the entrance of the gas station, marked September 29th, 2024, starting at 15:42:25. Go ahead and try to fast forward up to that point that we left off at. Doesn't want to do that. You can tell us what's happening while we're watching this.
so this is just a different angle. Mr. Bishop pulls in to Citgo, parks. And you can see him exit his vehicle.
Let me stop right there at the 154245 mark. We see a license plate on that vehicle. And earlier you mentioned you had an analyst help you try to identify this vehicle. Can you explain that?
Yes, so the crime analyst. She was able to enlarge the frame and get a partial plate and then run the partial plate through the system against silver Kia Souls.
Find a match.
Yes, a match was found.
Who was the vehicle registered to?
A Michelle Bishop.
Were you able to determine what Michelle Bishop's relationship is with the defendant?
Yes, she is his mother.
Keep playing from the 154245 mark here.
It is difficult to see, but in the top, almost middle of the frame, you can see the victim's four flex still parked there. They are still loading up their vehicle.
Where did the defendant go at this point?
He's inside making his purchase. Back to store.
Is that person there going back to the Kia Soul?
That's Mr. Bishop. He's giving him the vehicle to leave, and at the same time, you can see the victim's vehicle pulling out of the parking spot, at the Family Dollar, and pulling toward the driveway.
Which direction does the Kia Soul?
The Kia Soul went northbound on Villiers.
About the victim's vehicle.
The Ford Flex is stopped in the driveway of the Family Dollar.
Now what's that?
Now the Kia Soul has returned and is parked next to the Ford Flex.
During your investigation, did you uncover any information to explain what's kind of going on here?
Yes.
What was happening here, just generally?
So the victim, Isaac Kroll, had gotten into the Ford Flex with Jonah and made a remark about Mr. Bishop's driving through the lot.
Fair to say they're kind of exchanging some words at that point.
Yes, so they pulled out and happened to cross paths.
What is
and
the defendant's vehicle doing?
Jonah yelled and made a gesture at Bishop. He stopped, had words. She decided to end it and go to the light, and he followed.
Stopping at the 154536 mark. You said that you went to the light and followed. Who do you mean he?
Mr. Bishop followed the victim in her vehicle, in his vehicle, to the light and had not Villiers.
Is that what we're seeing on this frame here at the 154536 mark?
Yes,
Continue.
and you can see that it stays there, stopped for several seconds. And he's facing the wrong way in oncoming traffic, and then suddenly takes off. Jonah then waits for her turn to turn. Also, and this, and then you can't see.
So we can't see either vehicle anymore. What happened after that portion of the video we played there in exhibit number 8?
Based on statements from both Malcolm Bishop and the victims, Jonah pulled over shortly thereafter onto a side street. Mr. Bishop turned around. Headed back the other way, passing her. Goldman got on the phone and called 911.
You know, if any, or did you have any information that any sort of property damage was done during this incident?
Yes,
What was that information?
Ms. Goldman stated Mr. Bishop threw something out of his window that struck her windshield.
Did you have a photograph?
Yes,
Already shown the court that photograph there, so now I'd like to move on to, did you have conduct an interview with the defendant?
yes,
I don't want to go through all of it. How long was that interview, if you recall?
close to 3 hours.
Okay, so I'm not going to go through every bit of the 3 hours here, just for everyone's benefit. What I'd like to touch on is some specific areas about what he told you happened, his version of it, okay?
Yes, sir.
What, if anything, did the defendant tell you about being provoked by Jonna and Isaac?
He told me that the lady flipped him off and he turned around to figure out why.
Did he say anything or accuse anyone of calling him racial slur?
Yes,
Okay. Who was that?
Jonah Goldman.
What?
I'm sorry, it's Jonna. I keep
John.
pronouncing it wrong.
It's okay, I've gotten it wrong a few times myself. After this altercation, after these alleged racial slurs being thrown around, what did the defendant say he did?
He told me he laughed it off and let it go. However, the video shows otherwise.
At what point did he tell you in that video? So lining it up with the video, at what point did he say he had been called these names?
I asked that a few times and it was never really clear. And at the end of the interview, he said he might have said it later than we initially thought. So I'm not sure.
Okay, that's fine. And when you're conducting an interview, would it be standard practice or policy to occasionally make the defendant aware of what evidence may or may not exist?
Yes,
So was the defendant made aware prior to mentioning anything about a gun that he was being charged or accused of carrying a concealed weapon?
I believe he was told what he was under arrest for and knew what he was being booked for. I did not know.
At some point, did you make him aware of the accusations? Or maybe
I
I'll,
don't think I brought it up first. I think he did.
did he have some sort of an explanation of what he did, that he didn't pull a gun or anything like that?
Yes.
What was that explanation?
He said he threatened Miss Goldman or scared her with the steering wheel lock that he keeps on his front seat.
You recognize, well, at that point then, what did you do when he mentioned a steering wheel?
I asked him to describe it because I was picturing what I know as a club, my old steering wheel lock from the 90s. And he said, no, it's for a Kia. And I remembered, of course, there's such a commonly stolen vehicle, and Kia, likely to remedy that, was handing out steering wheel locks. So I, in the interview, Googled Kia steering wheel lock and showed him a picture right sitting there on my phone. And I said, like this? And he said, yes, that exact one.
Okay. Would you recognize a photograph of that steering wheel like you showed him if I approach
Yes.
it? Approaching with People's Exhibit number 4, Your Honor. You recognize that photo?
Yes,
What's in that photo?
it's the Kia steering wheel lock.
Is that a fair and accurate depiction of the photograph you showed the defendant?
Yes,
Fair and accurate depiction of what he said was the exact same thing he had in this
yes.
one. Moving to admit People's Exhibit number 4 at this time, Your Honor.
Any objections?
No, Your
People's four is admitted.
Commissioner Park. Already there. So we've got this steering wheel lock story during his interview. At some point, did you make him aware that the Citgo gas station had cameras?
Yes,
Did you ask him to repeat his story to you then after the meeting?
yes,
Would you recognize a portion of the defendant's interview of right after that moment if I showed it to you here
Yes.
today? Publishing what has already been admitted as people's exhibit. Oh, maybe. Moving to admit people's exhibit number 9 at this point before I publish it, Your Honor. It's a portion to the defendant's interview. I have showed it to Ms. Donnelly for the hearing today.
Any objection?
No, Your
This nine's admitted.
Hope the answer to this. The answer to this ends up being a yes, detective, but feel free to answer however you want. Are these audio recorded?
yes,
Okay. So we should have audio on this one?
we should.
Oh, why did you pull up next to her at the light?
Because she threw something. She threw
But
like
you
a little
said
ass
she
object.
threw something way before that.
No, I said she threw something in that parking lot when I was sitting next to her.
Yeah.
Then she pulled out, I turned around, and then I got right next to her. Then I got talking about breaking her window and stuff like that because she called me a hard R. And I showed her the fucking steering wheel lock. And then after that, I looked in the back seat, seeing the little homie, like Lily, sitting.
Go ahead and stop at 34 seconds into people's exhibit number 9. What did we just observe on the camera there? What, if anything, did the defendant do or gestures did he make when he talked about pulling something on him?
It looked to me like he was minding pulling a gun from the right side of his waistband, and pulling the slide to the rear and pointing it. And if he realized it, looked up at the camera, and his head fell like he knew he made a mistake.
I'm gonna go back and play that portion again so we can all understand what we're talking about here. Starting back at 19 seconds.
And I got talking about breaking her window and stuff like that because she called me a hard R. And I showed her the fucking steering wheel lock. And then after that, I looked in the back seat, seeing the little homie, like Lily, sitting right there. So I'm like, fuck that, because if I do fucking break her window, it's gonna get back there and get to him, and it's gonna cut him. So I said, fuck that shit. Just pull it off. Look both ways first. I looked both ways first before I took off because the light was red. And I was already sitting in
The wrong lane.
the wrong lane on top of that. So I just like, fuck it. Leave that shit alone. I'm already sitting the wrong way before this light turned green. I can't turn and go no fucking where. So just let me go ahead and take off. So then I take off, go around the bend, and shit like that. Then I'm like, fuck, that's the main reason why I went to the fucking gas station. But I forgot she threw me the fuck off, calling me those hard R's and shit like that. So I turn around. I literally turn around, then I guess I see her finally go by, and then boom. Whatever the fuck the case may be, I went straight over
And
there.
what do you mean, and then boom?
Like, I just went, I seen her, we both made eye contact, and we kept on going. Like, boom, literally.
That was it.
Literally, like, no bullshit.
Did you didn't drive back by again?
No, I had went to my mom's job, because I
Okay.
had to turn around, that's what I had to do.
Okay.
And then I can't literally remember what I did after leaving my mom's
Okay.
job. So that's
fair.
I remember everything from then, but I think either I went to my girl's house or I don't know what the fuck I did. I think I went home.
So when
Could you generally summarize, I think we all heard it, but just for the record, kind of what you were talking about there with the defendant? Fair to say this is his version of events?
Yes.
After he's been presented with the evidence that Citgo had cameras?
Yes,
One last piece of evidence I'd like to talk about that you collected. Was a 911 call made on this case? Have you listened to that 911 call before testifying today?
I know.
Would you recognize it if I played it again here today? Is it a fair and accurate depiction of the 911 call that was obtained as a part of this investigation?
Yes,
Your Honor, at this time, people would move to admit people's exhibit number 6.
I would object to that one. It's hearsay, and he did have well, it's hearsay, and there's no exception to it, except for if he's not using it for the truth of the matter serving.
I can lay a little foundation for an excited utterance, Your Honor. But I think it would qualify as a 911 call. We'll hear it. If Your Honor would like to hear it first, it sounds rather obvious to me that it's an excited utterance, but I can lay the foundation.
Lay for the foundation.
Now, upon reviewing that 911 call, could you describe who was on the call speaking?
Donna Golden was the primary caller.
What emotional state did she seem to be in while this was happening? Was she screaming? Was she crying? Was she happy? Was she sad?
She was fearful. She was crying.
Did she describe in that phone call what she was fearful of?
Yes.
Would it be this incident that just happened?
Yes.
Do you know how long after this incident happened she made this time?
I believe the time of the call was 52 hours. I'm not sure how.
Approximately how many minutes would that be?
Well, I'm not sure how in sync the signal cams are. But if they are exact, it's 5 minutes or less.
Pretty much right at.
Yes.
Karen, at this time, I would move to admit people's exhibit number 6 now. I think we've established the foundation for an excited utterance exception.
Or you can say in your objection.
Yes, Your Honor.
Objections on the rule.
Need the help down there.
Ingham County 911, what's the location of your emergency?
Please, please help me.
Okay, where are you at?
Please help me. I'm at here in Kavanaugh Road. Somebody just threw a rock at my car and he tried shooting me with a gun. Please help me.
Okay, he drove by. Is anyone injured?
He almost hit my kids. And I was in a parking lot and he almost hit my son. And I tried telling him to slow down and he confronted me. And now he threw a rock at my car and he put a gun in my window.
Okay, where did he go? What kind of vehicle?
We're by the Dollar General and Aurelius and Kavanaugh. He's driving around recklessly. He's in a silver blue box car. I don't know what kind of car it is.
Okay. And a silver vehicle?
He did not. Hold on, wait. I gotta hear what she said. What? I didn't hear you.
Okay, just 1 second. Stay on the line.
Stopping at the 1 minute and 11 mark there. Detective, based on your review of the 911 call, would there be anything after this point that would be worth any evidentiary value today?
Yeah.
What would that be? You want me to keep playing?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll keep playing.
To clarify,
Did he fire the gun at you?
He was driving recklessly on a parking space. That's what it was.
Okay, did he threaten you with the gun?
Yes, he did. Outright. I was at a red light and he pulled up beside me and had a gun and said he would shoot me in front of my kids.
Okay, stay on the line. I'm going to get some help started your way. Go ahead. Peter and Kavanaugh for male who threatened the caller with a gun. Stay on the line. What is your name?
Jonna, Jonna Goldman, Goldman.
What's a good phone number for you?
352-652-2718. I'm at Deer and Kavanaugh right now. My windshield is shattered.
Okay, we've got lots of help coming. Is anyone injured?
Just drove by me again.
Okay, is anyone injured? What kind of car are you in?
They're freaking out. I'm in a silver Ford Black.
Okay.
He's coming back. He's coming back.
Okay.
No, he's following me. Help me.
Okay, listen to me. Jenna, can you take a deep breath? Listen to me.
Yes.
You said he's in a silver box van?
He's in a silver Kia. I saw what it is. It's a Kia.
Okay, a silver Kia?
Yeah, right.
Where is he at right now?
Long dread hair.
Yeah,
black
hoodie.
sweatshirt, hoodie.
Okay, black male, long dress.
Kind of caramel color. It's not really like dark.
Okay. Okay, what kind of gun did he have?
It was like a little handgun.
Are you closer to Aurelius?
No, I'm on DIER. I don't know how to say that road.
Okay.
Somebody's driveway so he couldn't see me, but I don't know. He keeps driving past.
Kavanaugh and Deer?
Yes.
Okay. 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 Jenna, can you take some deep breaths for me? We've got lots of help on the way. Jenna, is he still there?
He's driving up and down Capitol.
Okay. Take some deep breaths. You need to keep your children calm too. How many kids do you have?
I have 7 kids, but I only have 2 with me right now.
Okay. What are their names?
Elizabeth and Everett are with me.
Okay, can you take me off speakerphone?
Yeah, how do I do that? I don't know what I'm doing.
Okay, can I talk to whoever you're with? Who are you?
Stopping at the 425 mark there on.
I want to hear if she talks to whoever she's with.
Okay, we'll continue. Like, I just wanted to make sure, because I think that here's a exception. I had argued it only applied to Ms. Goldman. I think it applies to everyone on this call at this
With that there's a male in the vehicle?
Yes, it's my boyfriend.
Okay, can I talk to him?
Yes.
Sir, do you see that other vehicle?
I don't see it right now currently, but it was
Okay.
a really small Kia. It's
Okay.
a super small box car.
Are you guys in a parking lot right now?
No, we're in a neighborhood area. We're parked in someone's driveway right now.
Okay, can you see the address on the house?
The address is. Hold on. It's right on Kavanaugh Road. Where sign? It's the first house.
Okay,
We're
next
by
minute, Sarah.
2433. 2433.
2433?
Kavanaugh. Yeah. 2433.
Did he throw a rock or did he fire the gun?
It looks like a rock. He threw a rock because a bullet.
Is anyone else in the car with him?
Penetrated through the car. No, I don't think so. His windows were tinted, but the thing is, he didn't almost hit somebody. We were getting out of the store, the Dollar Tree, I think it was.
So did he fire the gun at all at any point?
No, I guess he just flashed it. But he was driving like really fast, like in a parking space, in the parking lot. So you know, it was scary.
Yeah, that's understandable. We've got lots of help on the way.
My daughter could have been walking right behind me, and that time he could have hit her.
Okay, did you see which way he went? Where did you last see him?
He went to the gas station that was across the store, literally across the store. Like people saw him driving recklessly over there too. And then we confronted him about it, and he was telling us that he didn't care, he didn't give a fuck. And then he just was verbal
Detective Lindman, although we all just listened to that 911 call there, like I said, the court report doesn't type those things down. So if we could generally summarize what we heard on that call.
I heard Miss Goldman calling for help hysterically. It was hard to understand at first. Begging for help a couple times. You could hear children crying and screaming in the background. She said a male in a silver vehicle. Later, she identified it as a Kia. Threw a rock at her car and pointed a gun at her and told her, "I will fucking kill you." And while on the phone, she said, "He's coming back. Help me, help me." Um, That's the gist.
We hear a second person get on the call at one point.
That's Isaac.
And at this time, I have no further questions for this witness.
Press exam.
Detective Lindman, it's fair to say that you weren't one of the responding officers the day it did happen, correct?
Correct.
So did you, after it was assigned to you, did you physically inspect the damage to the car?
No.
And you testified that at one point, the police department did search the identified Kia Soul, correct?
I was told that, yes.
Okay. Do you know if this was after Mr. Bishop's arrest?
It was not.
So that would mean that it happened before he was arrested on October 30th?
Correct.
But you don't know what the circumstances of that search was?
It was traffic stops.
It was search incident to a traffic stop after the incident in September 27th.
Correct.
Thank you, September 29th. Do you recall which days that the vehicle was stopped?
I don't, I was not involved.
Okay. You said that you had listened to the 911 call ahead of time, correct?
Yes.
Was it just me, or was there a moment in there when Ms. Goldman on the phone to dispatch said that he almost hit my son? Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I also heard a very hysterical woman who was scared of her life.
Exactly. Your Honor, I have no further questions.
No, Your Honor.
Can you play the portion of exhibit 9 again? I believe it's exhibit 9. Is that the interview with the detective?
Correct, Your Honor. Play the portion in its entirety again, Your Honor.
The portion
The
that
portion
you,
I highlighted.
the portion you highlighted.
Next to her at the light.
Cause she threw something. She threw
But
like
you
a
said
little ass
she
object.
threw something way before that.
No, I said she threw something in that parking lot when I was sitting next to her.
Yeah.
Then she pulled out, I turned around, and then I got right next to her. Then I got talking about breaking her window and stuff like that because she called me a hard R. And I showed her the fucking steering wheel lock. And then after that, I looked in the back seat, seeing the little homie, like Lily, sitting right there. So I'm like, fuck that, because if I do fucking break her window, it's gonna get back.
Any more, Your Honor?
Nope, that's it.
No further questions for this witness, Your Honor.
Thank you. This witness can be excused. Any other witnesses?
No, Your Honor. It's time that people address.
Defense calling witnesses.
Your Honor, no, we don't have any witnesses.
You can proceed to argument.
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you. As Your Honor is well aware, we're here for a preliminary exam. My standard is to prove by a probable cause standard that a crime, specifically a felony, was committed and that this defendant is the one who committed it. Today, we put on proofs for 3 felonies. There is 1 misdemeanor that's attached to this file, Your Honor. I didn't necessarily put on proofs for it, but you do have a photograph of the property damage done up there as well for corroboration. Regarding the felonies here, before I get to them, we have proven the location of East Kavanaugh Road and Aurelius Road in the city of Lansing, Ingham County, state of Michigan, so venue is proper as well, on top of the date of September 29th, 2024. Both of those things have been testified to by almost every single witness at this point. We've also had multiple identifications of Malcolm Bishop on the record. Regarding the first charge, they were carrying a concealed weapon. Looking, and frankly, Your Honor, all of these charges, I'll kind of lump them together. I'm looking at the carrying a pistol in a vehicle under Michigan Criminal Jury Instruction 11.1A for the first charge. For assault with a dangerous weapon, Michigan Criminal Jury Instruction 17.9. For felony firearm, Michigan Criminal Jury Instruction 11.4. I think it is rather undisputed at this point, Your Honor, that some sort of incident and altercation happened between these 2 vehicles that we saw in the cameras contained in People's Exhibits 7 and 8. What we saw was the defendant enter that gas station that had those videos on People's Exhibit 3. We saw prior to that the defendant's car drive past Mr. Kroll, the daughter, and the silver Ford Flex in the Family Dollar parking lot at a high rated speed, and then do so again at the sit-go right after, to the point where an employee who was leaving turned around on camera unprovoked when they heard the car pulling up. Obviously, we're not here for a reckless driving case, Your Honor, but I think all these things matter because they're very corroborative of what the victims testified to in this case. Not only that, I would suggest that the fear, the hysteria, and the emotion that we saw of Jonah Goldman is also corroborative of the fact that this did happen in the way that she said it did. Otherwise, I don't think any reasonable person would have been acting the way she was today here in court when explaining these events. I certainly understand that the argument might be made that she was just dramatizing things and might have been unreasonable, but I think Your Honor is the one to assess credibility here on the witnesses and whether or not that was raw, real emotion that we saw, or if it was something else. Regarding the charges in this case, Your Honor, I think ultimately the issue here for a probable cause hearing might be that a firearm wasn't recovered. And frankly, if a firearm was not recovered and Your Honor doesn't feel there's proof of that, a firearm was used by a probable cause standard, it gets rid of all the charges. So I'm going to focus my argument there. What we heard was Jonah Goldman tell us that she saw a firearm, specifically describe it to Your Honor, describe it in a way that she was leaning over the center console and keeping the gun close to him. Your Honor, I would suggest that was an effort to make sure other people didn't see the firearm, but that she in this vehicle that the defendant had just had a confrontation with, to the point where he flipped his car around on Aurelius, cut off traffic, went right back across, and then pulled into the oncoming traffic lane at the red light to continue this altercation that he claims he just let go and laughed off. Your Honor, there's some severe credibility issues with the defendant's story versus Jonah Goldman's story.
But it hasn't made a story.
I apologize, Your Honor. In the interview that we saw,
There's no, we're assessing her credibility. I'm not assessing his credibility at this hearing.
Your Honor, I think the interview that was conducted with the defendant does fall into whether or not probable cause exists, though, however. And I do think that there are some inconsistencies on his interview that are quite interesting. One being that he claims he pulled this steering wheel lock that you see in People's Exhibit number 4 on her, and that she mistook that for a gun.
Let me just get some clarification, because I should have asked earlier. This is a picture of what one would look like, not actual picture from
A
the
picture-
defendant's car,
A
correct?
picture of one that the defendant agreed in the interview was the same exact one he had in his car, but you're right, Your Honor, it's not the exact
Okay, I
one
just
from
wanted to
his
make,
car.
okay.
Correct.
Do we know if it's the same exact color?
Your Honor, there was information
Well,
included
he's
in the
nodding,
interview.
so.
He's also nodding his head. So yes, it was the same exact color, meaning bright yellow. I understand there's a black handle on it, but it's bright yellow with shiny metal in between. It is hard to believe that that could be mistaken for a firearm. However, we also had the defendant in his interview go to explain what happened here. And he inadvertently, Your Honor, I would suggest his body somewhat took over and made the gesture of a gun when he started talking about how, and then he pulled it on her. And then as soon as he realized what his hand was doing, he looked right up at the camera, remembered he was being recorded, leaned his head back down and said, "The steering wheel."
How do we know what he remembered?
It's fair, Your Honor. I just think that there's some argument here about what that clip in that video means.
Okay, that's why I had you play that back specifically, because I watched, even when you re-highlighted it, and then I watched further his body language and how many times he moved his hands to this area as he's talking. And his hands went in that area multiple times. There's this portion that you want to highlight is when he said that he grabbed the thingy. You say went like this. Is that not what I saw in the picture, that he went like this? I saw him go like this, and then he appeared to not remember what it's called. And he's going like this. That's the portion you're highlighting.
I think I'd like to play it again at this.
Feel free.
Because I think the timelines are a little off on there. I agree with everything
The
you said.
timelines of what?
In which order he did these things. So I'd like to play it again, so that way I'm not just making conjecture. I logged out of the Zoom, 1 second. Again, from People's Exhibit number 9. Off my microphone.
Oh, why did you pull up next to her at the light?
Because she threw something. She threw
But
like
you
a little
said
ass
she
object.
threw something way before that.
No, I said she threw something in that parking lot when I was sitting next to her.
Yeah.
Then she pulled out, I turned around, and then I got right next to her. Then I got talking about breaking her window and stuff like that because she called me a hard R. And I showed her the fucking.
That right there, that's what I was talking about.
That's what I said. He said he put his hand in this area probably 5 times, talking about turning the wheel around. Hand goes down the same direction. When he says, "I showed her," he puts his hand down. I'm probably using the wrong hand. And then he goes like this and then goes like this. I'm not off on timing. That's exactly how he's describing what
Yes, Your Honor,
happens.
maybe I misunderstood what you said. I thought you said that he was doing this gesture before gesturing with
No,
his
he
hand.
went like this with his hands, he's got his finger curved, and then he's going like this as if he's trying to remind himself or explain to the officer or to the detective what the object was.
Yes, Your Honor, and while I did not play the entire 3 hours here of the interview for judicial economy, Detective Lindman did testify specifically to that prior to this, they went through the whole steering wheel lock argument. He provided this alternative story prior to this. So while I understand that his
Prior to
gesture-
what?
prior to this clip here, it's a 3-hour-long video. This is a 2-minute.
Yeah, but I'm only taking the evidence as I see it.
I understand.
And so I can't take
That's why I'm-
evidence that I didn't
I'm
see.
talking about her testimony.
Right.
Because she did testify to this.
She testified that you said you questioned her about whether or not he knew what the charges were prior to making these statements. What is it that you're now trying to highlight?
We went in detail about the steering wheel lock and how it was testified to by the defendant in his interview prior to this clip that I played. We admitted the photograph to go
Correct.
with it. So I would suggest to the court, Your Honor, the defendant had already come up with this plan or this idea before giving this interview that it was this steering wheel lock. The photograph we have is one that the detective looked up herself.
I get that, but I'm trying to understand what evidence are you using to support that he came up with this idea? Did because he had a discussion with the detective about it prior to,
Yes, Your Honor.
in which he brought up a steering wheel lock?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, and so that means that that's your argument that he came up with this prior to? I'm not
Yes,
following.
Your Honor, that is my argument. And
Okay.
I would further argue that because he came up with this argument prior to, that's why he is falling back on it in this clip. But this clip specifically, I would argue is the moment when he gets caught in the line. Because he gestures with his hand in a way that I would argue is consistent with him pulling a gun from his waistband when he says he pulled the thing out on.
Is it also consistent with what her statements that said, her statement being Jonna, that he reached to the right and grabbed an object that was down, which is
Correct.
what he did. He didn't pull, when he's talking, he didn't go to his waistband, he just moved his hand to the right.
That's
And he goes like this and he goes like this. Have you ever used a steering wheel lock?
No, Your Honor, but I know the extent.
So they do that.
Yes, Your Honor, but just because he said these things.
So
to
is it not,
detectives
so my
that he-
question, is it not also consistent with that?
It could be, Your Honor, but we're here for a probable cause standard, not beyond a reasonable doubt.
I'm not asking,
We have
I'm not,
this.
I don't ask you anything about the standard. I'm asking you, is it also consistent with that?
It
This
could
yes or no?
arguably be. And if I was the
Okay, so
defense
then that means
attorney,
that
I would
there's
be
likely a question of fact.
Correct, Your Honor,
Thank you.
for a jury to determine.
I'm
But Your Honor
not
is the sole
asking you to
determiner of this.
argue who you're supposed to determine. I think I know that.
Yes, Your
I'm asking you to argue your facts.
Yes, sir. So, as Your Honor has pointed out now, it is consistent with both what Jonah Goldman described as well as what was shown on the defendant's portion of the interview there. I understand the argument could be made either way about whether or not he was talking about pulling a gun or pulling the steering wheel lock. Nonetheless, the movement is almost identical to what we saw here in court today, described by Jonah Goldman, who also described that he pulled a firearm on her when he did it. We heard the 911 call where she said these things to police in the moment of. She also described that she was the closest person to his car. Isaac Kroll testified that he could not see anything through this car because he wasn't even looking. So simply because Isaac Kroll did not see it does not mean it doesn't exist either. And I understand that we're banking a lot on Jonah Goldman's testimony here, Your Honor. I'm not disputing that one bit.
But Jonah Goldman did not testify that the defendant picked something up and went like this, correct?
She testified that he reached over.
That he reached over and that he kept it down on the console. She stood up and demonstrated it.
Correct.
That he kept it down on the console. That's what she testified. She didn't say that he went like this and cocked anything, correct?
Yeah, I think this whole going like this was after he did this gesture, Your Honor. I don't think it's.
Or maybe because he's trying to remember what it's called, because I couldn't tell you what it's called. When my mom had one back in the days, it was called a club. But nonetheless.
It's also possibly got caught in a lie, Your Honor.
Yeah, but that would be conjecture, correct? You don't know.
As
we're watching this, it doesn't look like he stomped or stumbled as to, oh shoot, what I did. It looks like he's trying to figure out whatever the name of the device is.
I think it's conjecture both ways, Your Honor, quite frankly. I think both of us are essentially speculating on what he meant when he did these things. What we have is an interview.
No, I don't think I'm speculating. I just watched it. I think you're speculating that it's to the contrary.
I think we're both making a little bit of speculation here, Your Honor, but ultimately you're the one that has to make the ruling on this, and I'm not trying to step on your toes.
Correct. And also, so my question was back to what the witness, Jonah Goldman, testified. She never testified that he pulled anything out near his waistband and cocked it. She testified that he showed an object that she couldn't describe, by the way. And when you asked her, what it look like. She said, well, a firearm, can you describe it? She could not. And that he didn't move it. So obviously, this wasn't something that was put up or put towards her window as stated in the dispatch, based on her testimony, correct?
Correct, Your Honor. I'd have to play the 911 call again for sure, but I think.
I wrote it down when she said it. He said
Yes,
he put the gun to her window. He
Yes,
put a
Your
gun up to her
Honor,
window.
and I think it's not at all surprising that someone was emotional and maybe misstated some things after an incident like this to 911. What we have here is testimony under oath today that I would ask Your Honor to seriously consider, given that I think it does line up with a lot of the things here. We have the photograph of the damage to the window after. So if she's making all of this up, then why would she make up that he threw a rock at her window that we now have a photograph of too? We have gas station videos that show this whole altercation, and specifically the defendant coming back out of his car after making a purchase, seeing them leave and turning a whole U-turn around to go reinitiate this altercation with them. They then try to leave. He pulls up in the oncoming traffic lane at a red light, and admittedly, we can't see on camera what happens at that point. But we can see an extended stop between these two cars while the defendant is parked in oncoming traffic at a red light. I don't think that's something that arguably he was saying that he broke a window, right? But it could be argued the other way too, and that it is consistent with with Jonah Goldman's version of events, who was actually there, who did actually see the firearm, and is something that frankly we wouldn't be able to see on camera unless she had her phone out to record. So I would argue, Your Honor, the video evidence is consistent with Jonah Goldman's statement, as well as the defendant's interview. And I certainly understand your position on this.
I think the video evidence is clearly consistent with the timeline. We were not in the car.
Right.
We cannot say that the video evidence is consistent with her statement. It's only consistent with timeline because we can't see what happened. We can't even see when she allegedly flips him off or says what she says as he's driving off in the opposite direction and she's still inside of a parking lot. So we can't say that. We can only go off the testimony and then I can weigh the credibility of that testimony. Any further argument?
Your Honor, the only argument I would add is simply because the firearm was not covered in this case does not mean the firearm does not exist. We had testimony during direct and cross from Detective Lindman that the defendant was not even arrested until about a month after this incident. That's plenty of time to get rid of the firearm, and I'll leave it at that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Yes, the standard today is probable cause that Mr. Bishop was carrying a dangerous weapon in his vehicle, that he did use that weapon to threaten great bodily harm on Miss Jana, and that he was in and that this was also that, you know, the threat of a dangerous weapon was with a gun. So, Your Honor, I guess yes, we did hear testimony today from particularly Ms. Goldman, who said that she was basically the only witness that stated that she was threatened with a gun. She saw the gun. She was sure that it was a handgun. She did also testify that she had other people in the car with her. Mr. Kroll did not see a gun. He didn't even hear any threats. What's my understanding? Let me make sure I'm sure. He heard that there was a threat to break the window, but that there wasn't, that was the only threat that he heard. Ms. Goldman also testified today that she is also going deaf. She doesn't have an official diagnosis because she hasn't gone to the doctor, but she did have some indication that she could lose her hearing by the time she was 40. And I believe she's currently born, she's going to be 40 in a couple of years, Your Honor. So based on all that, you did see an interview that was conducted by Detective Lindman with Malcolm, in which he tried to explain his side of it. Your Honor, what it seems like is we got the timeline seems that we have the video and everything that well, most of the stories are lining up. It's just what happened in those interactions that we can't see on camera. What happened when Mr. Malcolm or Mr. Bishop returned to the Family Dollar parking lot? What happened at the intersection, at the red light? Ms. Goldman says that she was threatened with a weapon. Mr. Bishop says that he was denigrated. He was called names and slurs. Something was thrown at him.
Are you talking about in the statement to the officer? Because he's not testifying.
It was in, Your Honor, it was the evidence that was submitted to the court in the interview with Detective Lindman. It was an interview that was detected with, it was
Exhibit 9.
Exhibit 9. In Exhibit 9, it was evidence on Exhibit 9 that he stated that she used a hard R, that she threw something at him. So again, Your Honor, it seems that we just have very disputed facts when it comes to what happened in those interactions. Your Honor, obviously, just a probable cause standard at this point. You do get to look at credibility. With that, Your Honor, we just ask that it does not be found.
Things are learned. Okay, today was the date set for preliminary examination. This information is for you, Mr. Bishop. The purpose of the examination is to require the prosecution establish that they have sufficient probable cause that a crime was committed and probable cause sufficient to charge you with the crime. So this is not a trial. They don't need to prove each element beyond a reasonable doubt. They just need to show more than mere suspicion that a crime was committed, okay? And the court is the sole determiner of any credibility for witnesses, and the court will also assess the people's likelihood of success at trial. We had testimony from 3 witnesses today, first being a Jonna Goldman. She testified that she's lived in Lansing since she was about 18 on or off, currently age 37, that on or about September 29th, she was in the area of East Kavanaugh and Aurelius, which is in the city of Lansing, Egan County, state of Michigan, that she was at, she said a dollar store. She was not clear or familiar with which dollar store, but it was across the street from a Citgo station. And that she was there to get groceries. She was with her boyfriend and her daughter and son, and that she said her boyfriend came in the car and made statements to her about seeing the vehicle later identified as a vehicle driven by Mr. Malcolm Bishop drive at an excessive rate of speed, or what appeared to be excessive rate of speed through the parking lot. And Ms. Goldman testified that as she was leaving, and she testified she didn't see or notice the defendant driving through the parking lot. She's just relying on statements made by witness Cole. She states that she's exiting the parking lot of the Family Dollar at the same time. The defendant, or the person I later identified by the defendant, is exiting the parking lot or the area of the Citgo gas station, at which time she says she flips him off and tells him to slow down. Now, when the court questioned to get some clarification, because the court is very familiar with this area, and so I'm trying to understand how, if this person is exiting at a high rate of speed, were you able to communicate with them from another vehicle on the opposite side of the street? So it appears that as the defendant exited slightly before she did from the Citgo gas station, and this is also consistent with the video evidence that was submitted by the people. You can see the vehicle that's driven by Mr. Bishop exiting the Citgo, taking a right onto Aurelius, when the vehicle that was operated or occupied by Ms. Goldman is still at the exit point of the parking lot for the Family Dollar. According to the testimony, Ms. Goldman said she mouthed or gestured in some way, slow down, but that she flipped off, and the court understands flipping off, just putting up your middle finger, to Mr. Bishop, and Mr. Bishop later returned she testified about some period of time where there was a stare down and then she flipped him off, that he then turned around, they pulled up next to each other. She said that their cars were touching. The court saw video, did not notice vehicles touching, but that the statements that were made was, "I will hurt you and I don't care." And that statement was made by Mr. Bishop to her. And she testified at that moment that she began screaming, "I know he had a gun, I know he had a gun." And that he threw something at her, but she doesn't know what. And that she was in fear. She later pulled over into some area or someone's driveway and called 911 for assistance. She also testified about being in fear for her job and that she quit her job because she was in fear that he would find her and kill her. We had testimony then from an Isaac Kroll, who was in the vehicle at the date and time of the alleged incident. And he testified that the defendant, or the person identified as defendant, was driving through the parking lot of the Family Dollar extremely fast, and that it scared him. And he testified that if his daughter had decided to walk into the street, she could have gotten hit. He described the vehicle as being a gray Kia, and that vehicle driven by the defendant pulled into a sit-go, and that he could hear the brakes screech as it stopped at the sit-go gas station. He testified that he did not see a gun. And we had testimony from Detective Jacqueline Lindeman, who reviewed surveillance cameras, spoke with witnesses, and performed a pictorial lineup. And evidence was admitted through her testimony by way of the video surveillance cameras from the Citgo gas station, inside and outside. And so we have 3 counts here of weapons carrying concealed. One count, this is count 1, and then we have count 2, assault with a dangerous weapon, count 3, felony firearm. To prove this at trial, the people would need to prove beyond a reasonable doubt as to count 1, that the defendant had a pistol in his vehicle, and that the defendant knew the pistol was there, and that the defendant took part in carrying or keeping the pistol there. To prove assault with a dangerous weapon beyond a reasonable doubt at trial, other people would need to prove at trial. First, the defendant either attempted to commit a battery, in this case upon a Jonna Goldman, or did an act that would cause a reasonable person to fear or apprehend an immediate battery. A battery is a forceful or violent touching of the person or something closely connected with the person. Second, that the defendant intended to injure Jonna Goldman or make Jonna Goldman reasonably fear an immediate battery. Third, that at the time the defendant had the ability to commit a battery, appeared to have the ability, or thought he had the ability. Fourth, that the defendant committed the assault with a dangerous weapon, in this case, the dangerous weapon being a pistol. So the court heard the testimony, the court has seen the video. I've had the video replayed. I've even reviewed People's Exhibit 1 and 2, which was the pictorial lineup, and understanding that I think Ms. Goldman wasn't confident in making her depiction of who she believed the individual was from the incident. Even as I looked at it, I would struggle with 1 and 2 myself, with having the defendant sit here. However, when the court saw the evidence that was submitted that showed the video of the defendant, or the person identified as the defendant, in the store making a purchase, the court was satisfied that that was the defendant that the court sees here today. That's first and foremost. As it relates to the count of a carrying concealed weapon and the testimony that was provided as to that, the court is struggling with the credibility of the first witness. And these are the reasons why I struggle with her credibility. First, I can't say that because she was hysterical, that goes to show that this actually happened. People are hysterical for a number of reasons. It could be a mental health issue. It could be misperception. It could just be fear. I don't know. So I can't say that her state of mind is reasonable under the circumstances of what happened. When I ask for you to replay certain portions, particularly the dispatch and to continue the dispatch, it's because I am noting how there's a complete contrast to how hysterical she is versus Mr. Kroll. He's completely calm. He says nothing about a firearm. He says nothing about a threat of being shot to the mother of his children and his girlfriend. He, both in court today and on the dispatch, talks about driving too fast in a parking lot. That's his first concern. And what could have hypothetically or potentially have happened to his child if the child had gotten in the way of the vehicle. The court saw the video. The court agreed that the defendant was operating in a way that could danger someone in these parking lots. I saw that as he bypassed the roadway to go through the parking area, possibly because it was a red light, but I would have to speculate as to why anyone would drive through this parking lot so quickly and then cut around down Aurelius back into the gas station parking lot and swing around. And even as you're watching the video, he swings around so quickly and then he comes to a halt, and within seconds, someone is coming out of the store there. So do I think that we have information that he was driving recklessly? I think that speaks for itself. However, the testimony of Mr. Kroll and even the statements that were stated via dispatch said nothing about a threat to hurt or kill or shoot Ms. Goldman. Even as she's being hysterical and it's hard to make out what she's saying, you could hear him in the back telling her to calm down or hold up, as if he's trying to correct or intercede to speak, is what could be heard on the dispatch. The other concerns that the court has is that Ms. Goldman got on the witness stand and she demonstrated, she stood up so that I can see it, because I said I couldn't see it, what the interaction took place that made her believe that there was a weapon. She said that he had his arm down and he was leaning. She demonstrated him leaning over to the right as to not remove his arm off of the center console. And she stated that his statements were, I'll hurt you and I don't care. But even as the court was talking to her for the first 3 minutes of this exam, she couldn't hear me, or at least she was oblivious to what I was saying, and carried on to talk to whoever was over there. Then later, the court finds out she actually says that she's partially deaf. So whether in fact she heard those statements, I couldn't speak to it, but I have questions and concerns about that. And those questions are highlighted by the fact that Mr. Kroll was there. He is telling the court that he's trying to remain calm to be her rock. But at no time did he seem to jump to her aid or as if there was a threat to her, a physical threat of harm to her. At no time is he hysterical, or does he state to the dispatch or even on this record today that the defendant made a threat to harm her in his presence. I recognize he said that he wasn't looking and so he couldn't see whatever was going on when the defendant allegedly leaned to the right to the central console. That's questionable, because if I'm in the car with my man and someone is having an interaction with me, I would hope he would be looking, but maybe for whatever reason he was distracted. But he didn't say he couldn't hear. He never testified that there was a threat made. He, to the contrary, testified the same thing that the defendant said in the video, which was that he threatened to break the window. That's what he said. He didn't say he threatened to shoot her or that he was going to hurt her and he didn't care. And that's what makes me question her. Also makes me question the credibility of her testimony is on that dispatch, she said that he put a firearm to her window. And that's not what she said on the stand today. What she said to the stand today was he never even lifted up a firearm and the other thing that makes me question it is the statement she made is that she's screaming, I know he had a gun, I know he had a gun, as if she's not sure he had a gun. She's trying to convince herself, I know he had a gun. Did you see a gun or did you not? So I question if she saw a gun. I question if he ever made a threat, and that's because of her inconsistency with her statement. And then Mr. Kroll did not mention anything about ever seeing a firearm. He never mentioned anything about a threat, and he is sitting right there in the vehicle with her. It is for those reasons that I believe the people have lacked probable cause, and this case cannot continue. So count 1 and count 2 will have to be dismissed, and count 3. However, there is a malicious destruction of property. That's a misdemeanor that will continue. And there was testimony of a rock being thrown and shattering a window. That testimony also was corroborated by evidence on the video dispatch when I asked for the continuation of the Mr. Kroll saying, no, he threw a rock. He threw a rock. So there was information to support that. Nonetheless, counts 1, 2, and 3 are dismissed for lack of probable cause. Do you have any questions for the court? Any additional matters for the record?
Are we gonna set a pretrial date for the MDOP then, Your Honor?
December 10th at 10:30.
December 10th at 10:30 for a pretrial. You can appear via Zoom for the pretrial, sir, but you have to have video. You can't be driving or doing anything else that's not appropriate for court, okay? Do you have any questions? We'll get you a notice to appear in just a moment.
Your Honor, if I may.
Yes.
I do have a bond motion to make at this point. I would request, based on the testimony that was provided today, of the proximity of these two. I did double check myself. The defendant is currently outside of a 2,000-foot exclusion zone. However, my concern would be.
You mean where he lives?
Correct. From the victim's home. It's outside of 2,000 feet, but just barely. For those reasons, and out of an abundance of caution, I would, at least for the record and for Your Honor's consideration, request that a GPS tag be added.
So I'm not even moving forward with an assaultive action, so I don't know how I can justify that. The other concern that I actually didn't address that struck my attention as to the credibility issue was when I watched the video, and the allegation is that she's so fearful for her life or that there's this threat, and you see the defendant turn left and then you see her follow him left. If I think that someone's threatening me, I'm not going down the same street right behind them.
Fair, Your Honor. I think that's kind of the point of my motion, is that they were headed to the same place because they live in the same apartment. But I understand.
They live in the same apartment
I
complex.
understand your role.
Oh, well, that's information.
They do, Your Honor.
Are they aware that they live in the same apartment complex?
Yes,
Or
Your
she is? Okay.
And
For
the
the
defendant is
purposes-
also,
I would hope.
if I may proffer, Your Honor.
You may.
The defendant also, in his interview with Detective Lindman, made very aware to her that not only does he know the victim lives in his neighborhood, he's seen her car and he's seen her go out to her car. So my suspicion is maybe it was a coincidence, but it kind of sounds like he's watching.
Or if we live in the same apartment complex, we would probably see each
Fair,
other.
Your Honor, but it's a few buildings away. It's not like it's just the same exact building.
No, sir, you have the right to remain silent, but you can waive the silence if you want, but no understanding that anything you say can be used against you. I would hope that Mr. Bishop is smart enough at this point. Judging by the video, I don't know that you were using your thinking cap that day. I would hope at this point that you were smart enough to know that you don't want to have interactions with Jonna Goldman or Isaac Kroll. You don't want to do U-turns when people flip you off to figure out why they flipped you off. You don't want to be driving through parking lots period, but definitely at high rates of speed. And you definitely don't want to be seen or perceived to have been seen communicating with these two people who, by a slim margin, you were able to escape being bound over to the circuit court. And it was really based on the credibility of the testimony, because if the testimony of Ms. Goldman was more credible, this case would be going to circuit court for a question as to whether or not you actually had a crowbar or whatever that lock is, or a firearm. You understand that? So I'm not going to add a GPS tether because I'm not continuing with a witness on here. I'm continuing with a malicious destruction of personal property. I've not had any concerns brought to my attention prior to today about any violations of bond conditions. You don't live in the same apartment building with her, just the same apartment complex?
No, she's like further on past the whole neighborhood, but I was trying to say that my baby mom lives like right next to the office, and she's way past. Like,
oh, so someone you date lives
no,
near her?
My child's mother.
You're the mother of your child
yes,
lives near this person?
No, not near. She's just basically she's the halfway mark. So like, so let's say supposedly she's over here. This is her house basically, and I'm over here.
Okay.
Basically, what I'm saying, my baby mom lives like right here. Is what I'm saying. So
okay.
I just basically have to have my baby mom bring my child or something like that.
I think you would probably want to do what you believe is best to avoid that area as much as possible, because you don't want any new charges brought up for assaultive actions with her. And if you heard and you saw her, she's definitely afraid of you. If she's at Family Dollar, I would go to Dollar General if I was you. I'm not going to make it a court order. I'm just going to admonish you to use some common sense. Any additional matters for the record? And we're doing a lockout? Not lockout, we're doing Carter?
Yeah.
We're running that? No exam?
But I think he needs a moment to talk with
Okay.
the client. We did have a witness up here that all of us are a little bit surprised showed, so that might.
Oh. For the people of the state of Michigan versus Stefan Alexander Carter, 24-02508 FY, council appearance.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Joel Martinez, hearing on behalf of the people of the state of Michigan.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Jacob Starks, the fourth assistant public defender here on behalf of Mr. Carter. Mr. Carter's present at council table. He's staying to my right.
Okay, today was the date that was set for a preliminary examination. This is for larceny in a building. Having an exam today?
It's attempted larceny in a building, Your Honor, the high court misdemeanor. At this time, the defense is requesting to unconditionally waive the right to a preliminary examination.
Yeah, you're correct. I see attempted on the paperwork. Someone just wrote larceny and not attempted, so I read that.
Thank you.
Okay, let's see here. I do recall that there was a concern, I think previously, about a competency issue that's no longer a concern.
Oh, it's being managed, Your Honor. And up
I'm sorry?
They said the situation is being managed.
Oh,
Mr.
okay.
Carter is under constant and very good care by some loving members of his family. So he is competent for today's proceedings.
Okay.
It's certainly something that we will be reviewing in the future in terms of criminal responsibility as well, Your Honor, but that's a circuit court issue. As Your Honor, thank you.
Okay, let's see. There was no offer on this.
There was, Your Honor. First, I'd just like to state the people also unconditionally waive their right to have a preliminary examination in this matter. The offer extended is a misdemeanor larceny, 200 or more, but less than 1,000.
And Mr. Carter, you understand that? You understand what's going on here today? Okay, and do you understand? You understand what's going on here today? Okay, you understand that you have the right to have a preliminary examination? You know what the purpose of the exam is for? Okay, so you understand that you can require or make the prosecutor put forth evidence that would show that the charge that's being brought against you was committed and that you committed the charge by a probable cause standard. You understand that? I can't hear you.
Yeah.
You want to waive your exam? I mean, you don't want to have it? Do you want to have the exam or no?
No.
You do not? Anybody threatening you to tell you not to have your exam at all?
No.
Has anybody promised you anything if you say you didn't want your exam? The bind over date's gonna be November 27th. That's the date the circuit court's gonna get the file from the district court. Mr. Carter, you do not have to go to court on the 27th, okay? Your next court date will be a pre-trial and your attorney will be made aware of that, okay? We have an address for him at 6006 Yorkshire in Detroit. That's still good. And phone number, what's your phone number?
313 348 4876.
What's so funny? Oh, okay. Whose number ends in 8777? Is that your mom? Okay. I'll note that in the file. Let's see. Bond was set at 1,000 personal recognizance, and that will continue. Any additional matters for the record?
Nothing additional from the people. Thank you, Your Honor.
Nothing further, Your Honor. Thank you.
You're all set. Let's see here.